Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and for joining us in the Dearborn Heights City Council's regular meeting, which is called to order today at 6:26 p.m. Madam Clerk, may you please take roll call?
Hassan Ahmad.
Present.
Moby Dun.
Here.
Nancy Breyer.
Here.
Robert Constant.
Present.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Here.
Hassan Saab is absent, and Tom Wenzel.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we're going to have Mrs. Debbie Wenzel lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today.
Double, 2 for 1.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mrs. Wenzel. Tom just did the one earlier, and he was so excited. And look, he's blushing now that we're calling on you. All right. Next up, we have agenda approval.
No, this is a special meeting.
I'm sorry.
We have the
Next up, we have the City Council resident recognition.
I got a new computer. Well, we're hopeful.
This one's exciting. It's cute.
Well, good evening, everyone. Is this on?
Kids can hear.
Use George's. Can you use George's?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Council Chair. As we gather here today, just after Memorial Day, we pause not only to enjoy the freedom and blessings that surround us, but to reflect on the true meaning of this occasion. Memorial Day is more than just a day on a calendar. It's a powerful reminder of the courage, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment of the men and women who served and continue to serve in the defense of our nation. It is a day to honor those who gave their lives in the line of duty and to recognize the living legacies of those who stepped forward to serve, to protect, and to uphold the values we hold dear: freedom, justice, and democracy. Tonight, I have the privilege of recognizing 3 individuals, 2 living veterans and 1 fallen hero, whose stories speaks to the heart of what Memorial Day stands for. First, we honor Mr. James Woods. James is a proud graduate of Roboshah High School, where he developed a love for basketball. Answering the call of duty, he went on to serve in the 173rd Airborne Brigade of the United States Army, an elite unit known for its courage and readiness. After returning home, James applied his skills and work ethic as an electrician at Ford Motor Company. Today, he enjoys the simple yet profound joy of spending time with his children, a peace and freedom that he helped protect for all of us. James, we thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your continued example. James? Council member, would you like to join us, please? Yeah, sure. Congratulations first.
I just want to mention,
Hold this mic. You can hold this.
I just want to mention there's a Bruce Wilder that's on the marquee. I was with him in basic training. He didn't make it back. That's the people we want to remember.
Thank you for sharing. Can we take a picture with you?
We're going to go back here.
Recording in progress.
Oops.
Only one correction. He's spending more time with his grandchildren.
Grandchildren. You guys can stay here if you want. Next, we recognize and remember the late Damon F. Clayton. Damon proudly...
Somebody's mic is on.
Some computer glitch. No, it's...
Go ahead.
Damon proudly served in the 82nd Airborne Division, another storied airborne unit defined by bravery and strength. After his service, he continued to contribute to society as a hard-working fireman and was an avid hockey player. Though he is no longer with us, his spirit and dedication live on. Damon once shared with his mother, our Honorable City Treasurer Lisa Hicks Clayton, that he was always ready to give his life for the sake of his country and its citizens. That's the very definition of valor. Lisa, thank you for being here tonight to accept this recognition on behalf of your beloved son. His courage and selfishness will never be forgotten. Lisa?
One more, guys. Maybe two.
Where's it? Finally, we honor Clarence Constant. Constantakis. Okay, whatever he said. Clarence was the proud son of Greek immigrants and a true American patriot. He answered the call to serve by enlisting in the Army Air Corps, now known as the United States Air Force, as a gunner and a radio man on large military aircrafts. Clarence served with honor and distinction. After the war, he chose to make Dearborn Heights his home, building a successful career as an attorney and raising 6 amazing children. He continued serving his community as an elected justice of peace for 6 years and as a member of our own city first charter commission. His legacy of service, both in uniform and in civic life, lives on through his son, the Honorable Bob Constant, who is here tonight to accept this recognition on behalf of his father. Clarence's story is a shining example of the American dream lived out through hard work, courage, and community service. Is he with us on Zoom? I think Clarence is on Zoom. Mr. Constant, thank you for your service, and we salute you. To James, Damon, and Clarence, and to all our veterans and their families, we say thank you. Your sacrifices have shaped the freedom we enjoy, and your examples continue to inspire us to be better citizens and better neighbors. Let us carry the spirit of Memorial Day with us, not just this week, but every day, by remembering the fallen, honoring the living, and striving always to be worthy of their service. Thank you. By the way, he's 99.
9 years old.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Before we end this segment, I still have one more special one too as well. It is with great admiration and sincere gratitude that we, the members of the City Dearborn Heights Council, and the residents of our community come together to honor Councilman Tom Wenzel and his beloved wife, Deborah Wenzel, as they celebrate an extraordinary milestone, 50 years of marriage. 50 years of marriage is a testament to a bond built on faith, perseverance, love, and a deep sense of commitment. It reflects a lifetime of shared values, mutual support, and countless memories, all of which have not only strengthened their union, but also enriched the lives of those around them. Councilman Tom Wenzel has served this community with dedication, integrity, and a heart of service. His work as a public servant has left a meaningful impact on the lives of countless residents, whether through his leadership on the council or his active involvement in local causes. Tom has always been community first, and behind that steadfast commitment has always stood Deborah, his greatest supporter and partner. Together, Tom and Deborah have taken on one of the most selfless roles any couple could embrace: the responsibility of raising their 5 grandchildren. In doing so, they have offered not only a loving home, but also a strong foundation of values, compassion, and stability that will shape the next generation. Their devotion to family is a shining example of strength, sacrifice, and unconditional love. Theirs is a story of service to each other, to their family, and to the city they call home. Today, we honor their story. We celebrate a marriage that has weathered time and change. We recognize a life of purpose lived in service to others, and we thank Tom and Deborah Wenzel for showing us all what it truly means to lead in both public and private life with humility, grace, and love. May the years ahead be filled with continued health, joy, and peace. Congratulations on your golden anniversary. By the way, help me, Mrs. Wenzel just celebrated her birthday, I think like a week ago. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to say 1 dozen things. Okay. I just want to say one thing is all the things that I do, city council, all the activities I'm involved with, my family and Debbie make the biggest sacrifice. They're there helping me set stuff up or doing stuff, or I'm away from them doing this stuff. So all the things I do and all the accomplishments I made, she is the main reason I get things done. And people ask us, what's your secret? Most of the time I tell them I can't tell you, it's a secret. But one of the main things is teamwork. And teamwork, like our kids say, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you so much.
All right, Tommy, come on, Tommy. It's time to sit down and start the music. But I want you guys to know, we do these recognition. Councilman Ahmad really enjoys them, and he really takes the initiative. And I also want to recognize Councilman Ahmad for putting this forward. And really, and Tom kind of was getting very annoying, and he kept saying, well, I want to know who we're recognizing. I said, Tom, don't worry about it. Why don't you ask? And he wouldn't leave us alone. So then I walked up to Deborah this past weekend and I said, can you do me a favor, get Tom to stop asking questions? She's like, he was doing a talk to text in his phone and asking. So this is why we weren't telling you, Councilman. I knew all along. But congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations on 50 years, guys. One more time, round of applause. Thank you. Mr. Wood and your family, thank you so much for your services. We appreciate you and for all that you do. And we can't wait. I can't wait to play you in basketball one-on-one. So, and Lisa, to your family, thank you so much. I mean, you are a true leader in this community. You have been giving back to our community, and, you know, our prayers are with you and your family. God bless you. Councilman Constant, your father, who's probably on here right now, I believe anytime I write to him, he critiques how I write, so I will speak more than I write back to him. I will tell you, thank you so much to your father and for his services. Our charter is outdated, but we know that there's a lot of great things in there because your father was a part of that charter review. So thank you and your father for your civil service.
Thank you.
Next up, we
Council
got.
Chair?
Yes.
I just forgot one thing. You know, Councilman Ahmed mentioned the fact that we're raising 5 of our grandchildren. My daughter passed away. We took her children in and adopted them. But we couldn't do it without Debbie. I mean, she quit her career. She went from sitting in an office chair to sitting in a rocking chair with a newborn baby. And people say we're doing marvelous things with these kids. I couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without Debbie. And I love you, honey, so much. Thank you for everything.
You're not sleeping on the couch tonight, buddy. You're all right. All right. Next up, we got Phase 2 Citywide School Safety Zone presentation.
Here.
Councilman, this guy just came off a flight, by the way, guys. Yeah, whoa. You all right?
As the garbage can pulled out.
Yeah.
All right, Madam Clerk, can you set the record that Councilman Saab is present with us? Sit off.
It works. It works.
Well, you got a nice tan, huh?
Don't touch it. Got me.
Just
Use what? Yeah, so, okay.
Speak
Can you
into
hear
it.
me? I can't tell if it works.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Good. All right, good evening, council. As I promised last year, during the phase 1 of the school crossing, which we called last year the pavement markings, were identified, designed, and painted to create a safe student crossings throughout the city schools. Phase 2. Happy to announce that the phase 2 has now been designed and will be ready for implementation this season. So during the summer recess, we intend on. I'm going to show you in a minute exactly what we have in mind for the entire school. So this is the school safety zone project, which basically created the safety zone around all the schools in the city of Dearborn Heights, and then take it from the first phase, which you can see the crossing, into the next phase. So I have with me tonight a licensed traffic engineer who helped assist assist us in the design, Ms. Lori Pollack, and I also have another licensed engineer behind me, Von Martin, to assist the city. So what I like to do is make the presentation, which will show you the status of this project as of today, and then open it up for questions and answers. Lori,
Okay.
all yours.
All right. Thank you, Ali, and thank you, everyone, for having me here tonight to
you for
discuss
being here with
our
us.
project. I'm sorry?
I said thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'm going to jump right in. Let's see. That one. Okay, so we started off looking at all of the schools within the city. There are 21 schools that we included in the assessment, 15 public schools, 6 private or charter schools. As many of us know, a lot of these schools are located in residential neighborhoods, so we had to take special consideration for those as well. Starting off this project with school surveys. So we don't want to do a design in a bubble. We don't want to make recommendations in a bubble. We want to know from the schools what's going on. They have a better idea than anyone else where their issues might lie, and they might have ideas on how to help with fixing some of the situations. So we sent out a survey to all the schools that they could complete online. We wanted to know about the non-motorized school safety, or the kids walking and biking to school. And we really wanted to hear their input on the existing conditions surrounding the schools and known issues and concerns related to walking and biking. We sent these out on multiple occasions in 2023. We did hear from 8 of the schools, and they gave us a lot of good information that we were able to include in our project.
So I'm so sorry, you heard from 8 out of 21?
Yes.
And how did you reach, did you guys phone them, Text them, call them?
Emails.
Who did you reach out to?
Emails. Yes. So in addition to the emails and the contact, we also had our consultants field verify the conditions. So it isn't just, tell me where the school. We actually had field people looking, because no two schools are alike. So we had, each school is unique. So in a way that where the kids cross and the layout of the school. So if you can see, one of our challenges is a school right across the street from us. We had multiple crossing areas because the football field is on one side, the school is on one side, the parking is. So this is a custom made, if you will, for each school. What you will see in the short period is a custom-made design for each school. But that's
My question is, like, for example, Crestwood School District,
right.
did you reach out to all of them, or did you just reach out to the superintendent and they could have given you a breakdown on Highview, Hillcrest, Kinlock?
I think it was-
Or if you reached out to
Yeah,
D7,
to the superintendent.
they would have reached out to Annapolis, Polk, and all the other
It was
schools.
sent to the superintendent.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
No problem. And then the next step in the process, we did a crash analysis. So at the time we pulled the latest 5 years of crash data, we really wanted to look at if there's any issues with walking and biking. We did look at all of the crashes within the school zone, but what we really wanted to dial into and make sure that we provide recommendations on are any existing problems. And a really good way to start off looking at that as well is with the crash data. Most of the crashes didn't involve students during the day, or it wasn't exactly a crash with a student, but just looking at the information and finding out the causes of some of these pedestrian and bike crashes helps us to come up with recommendations for improving safety that'll translate to everybody walking and biking, including students. So we look at the details of each one of these crashes with the police reports, and we look at specifically severe injury and fatality. There was one fatality that occurred at Pardee in Annapolis, as we all know, where Pardee Elementary is located. And did you?
So part of the reason why we did that, because we wanted to make sure that we don't if we have any geographic or geometric alignment issues with the roadways, that we address them, not just paint, crossings. So we wanted to find out if there are any issues with the streets as we know it. But apparently, we wanted to concentrate on areas that we know we had, Joey, well, we had issues. So we concentrated on that, and then when we get to the recommendations, you're going to see that we also concentrated on the areas that showed most of the trouble, the higher level of crashes or incidents. So, Go ahead.
Starting off with the field observations, we went to each school and observed during arrivals and dismissals. We took an inventory at all of the schools, as well as what infrastructure exists, what might be lacking. So we noticed some of the things that had issues were pedestrian crossings, worn crosswalks, lack of marking, lack of signage. Some of the locations where there's crossing are not ADA compliant, as seen here. And then other field observations, safety issues with vehicle speeding. And there's, in some areas, low compliance with stop signs. So basically, people rolling through stop signs or not stopping at all in stop signs is an issue. And then students were observed crossing at mid-block locations where there were no crossings or intersections, which, we saw a lot in the residential areas surrounding the schools. People kind of just tend to cross all over the place at those locations. And as we can see, there weren't really any discernible crossing patterns at some of those residential type schools. And then mid-block crosswalks, as I mentioned, what that is a crossing where pedestrians can cross away from the intersection. It warns motorists to expect the pedestrians in this location. And they typically exist where there's no other traffic control, such as a stop sign or a signal. Vehicles, they should yield, at these crosswalks. It doesn't always happen, so that's another thing we looked at with the study. And then treatments that might be able to be implemented to help with people, making people stop and recognize that there's crossings in these locations. So based on these analysis, we came up with some near-term treatments. Some of the lower cost improvements that are recommended as part of this project were pavement markings, high visibility crosswalk markings, stop control, high priority areas, and maintenance of markings. And then additionally, signing. So new stop signs where some of the retro reflectivity might be worn, additional school signs where they might be lacking, pedestrian and crosswalk signs, and then parking restrictions during school hours in certain areas. And here's an example of mid-block crossing treatment. Things that we look at for mid-block crossing treatments: traffic volumes, pedestrian and bike volumes, the type of roadway. As I mentioned, there's residential areas, there's higher volume, higher speed, arterials, and then their proximity to the schools, speed limits, crash data. With these evaluations, we found that a lot of the locations do not warrant signalization, full stop-and-go traffic signals, but they would benefit significantly with enhanced markings, additional signing, and in some cases, rapid flashing beacons.
What are,
RFB, rapid flashing beacon, is basically the similar to what we're going to do on Beach Daily, although it is an enhanced. A crossing device that you push a button and then it turns the signal on, so.
sure.
Crossing beacon, yep.
And we have some examples
Yep.
coming up in the presentation. So for the high visibility crosswalks, I've kind of circled here the standard crosswalk that is typical in a lot of locations. It's just the two white lines. They're very common, commonly used for mid-block crossings in the area. The higher visibility that we have implemented in the high priority safety zone locations are shown next to it, the continental type markings. These have been found to reduce pedestrian injury crashes up to 40% by really bringing out to the motorists that there's a crossing there and being able to recognize it very easily. High visibility crosswalks, the markings, we already implemented the school safety zone priority locations directly adjacent to the schools last year in August. And the school safety zones that we've identified are about 1,500 feet surrounding the schools. Phase 2 is going to be completed this year. And so what we'll do is go ahead and mark out any of the pedestrian crossings that weren't marked in phase 1 all the way out to 1,500 feet approximately surrounding all the school zones this summer.
Yeah, so basically, this is the thrust of the phase 2, is the creation of the school safety zone, the 1,500 square feet around each, 1,500 linear feet around each school, and then what you see the markings, and again, each school is based on the observation, the field observation. Each crossing is going to be uniquely designed to that one location. So some may be the enhanced lighting, some may be the RFB, some may be just the marking, and some may actually include raised crossing, and we're going to show you examples.
Okay. This is an example of the new school sign that I mentioned. So these really enhance and let motorists know that there's school zone in the area and that they need to be careful and watch out for pedestrians. Long-term treatment options that we'll show examples of. Some of these require coordination with the community and school, possibly road agencies. Rectangular rapid flashing beacons, the high-intensity activated crosswalk, a regular traffic signal, and then raised crosswalks and speed tables. And we'll go through each of these examples. So I just wanted to mention before we go through the examples, when selecting these countermeasures, there are standards that we have to follow and comply with. So these are federal standards. We use all of the guidance that's available and best practices in making recommendations and decisions for the treatments. And I know you can't read this, but this is just an example of some of the types of charts and figures that the federal guidelines have for us to use in making some of these decisions. So the rectangular rapid flashing beacon, or RRFB, you might have heard, these provide signals, warnings to driver that a pedestrian's crossing the road. So you can see here, here's an example. It's the pedestrian sign with yellow flashers. It can be used in combination with a pedestrian sign or a school crossing sign. So here you can see it's used with a pedestrian sign. It's high visibility warning with the use of that flashing activated light. You can have a push button detection or passive detection, which detects somebody as soon as they walk by and automatically starts flashing. These are installed in pairs at each end of a crosswalk. They've been found to reduce crashes by almost 50%. And it is a warning device. It's not enforceable by law, but it has been found to be very effective in reducing pedestrian crashes. And then here we have an enhanced RFB. So you can see it's similar to the rapid flashing beacon that we showed in the first example, but there's that overhead mast arm to really further enhance and bring attention to the motorist that there's a crossing.
So why wouldn't we do majority of the enhanced RRFPs?
Cost. Money. Yes. So this is pretty expensive. You can see that mast. I think I'm looking at what, $100 and some odd $1,000 for the foundation
Much?
for foundation and the mast. It's pretty.
What's the
expensive.
price on it, you said?
The mast, 100.
It's around $200,000 for this application.
So that's, I don't have, it's expensive.
Maybe like in a heavy traffic area.
So this is the one going on Beach Daily. That's Beach Daily.
We have, so we have one in place, or a design in place, and it's under review from NDOT for Lawrence and Beach Daily for
That's the Beach Daily
a very similar application.
Very similar. But again, it is because of the uniqueness and the, the weight, that foundation on the column is pretty excessive to be able to carry that cantilever beam.
But I'm sorry, Council. That one doesn't have a red light. The one on Beach Daily is gonna have a red light.
No, it's going to have this light.
It's not gonna be a stop sign?
It's not gonna be like a stop
stoplight?
red.
Flashing yellow, right? It's a flashing,
Right.
flashing yellow.
That's correct.
That's flashing.
Just a
yellow.
flashing yellow?
On demand.
This one has a flashing yellow?
On demand.
On
yes.
demand, when
On
it's-
demand.
when people are
This is
crossing.
exactly what the U of M did. It's the exact same thing. And it works.
Yeah, well, you know, we were under the impression you were getting a traffic light for
Traffic
these.
light, it is not warranted. We couldn't get them to, it's not warranted. There are special guidelines for.
I know, I just want to tell you,
Yeah,
what
no,
we were
it's-
initially told was we were getting a traffic light. Yeah, when you initially gave us the presentation, you said, and this was like 2 years ago, we were being awarded through MDOT a traffic light that's going to go on, yeah, Mr. Deeb, I mean, we're not going to argue, but.
So we had, originally, we had
Yeah.
a hawk signal that which is a red light, and it's enforceable, and.
And
it
the
was-
question was, we were talking about, what if it got too close to the fire station? We had these conversations, like, I'm not just making it up.
Go ahead.
We had to move it
We have to move it.
because.
Yeah, because a resident took it to court and fought it, but that doesn't mean we can't still get it.
So in order to, we did a study, we met with Crestwood High School folks as well, determined the most useful location for crossing, and it was found that Lawrence and Beach Daily was the most applicable space. Otherwise, given the parameters for hawk signal placement, we would have had to have gone farther north than we already were, or farther south down to Wilson, essentially, which is already a signalized location.
Lawrence and Beach Daily, you said?
That's correct.
Yeah, so in order to place a red traffic light, there are guidelines on the distance between existing lights and where you can place them. The original location gave us that hawk signal, but we weren't able to use it, so we had to move that location. And under the newer, under the federal guidelines, that's the best we can use at that location, at Lawrence and Beach.
Council Chair?
Yeah, and we actually looked at placing a traffic signal at Lawrence, and it wasn't warranted, and therefore
So-
wouldn't fall under the funding for MDOT.
I'm looking at Lawrence and Beach Daily, leaving Crestwood Senior Parking Lot. You can only turn right, you can't turn left, correct? So where are you going to be putting this at? Because you got to remember something, you also have to keep in mind the cars that are lining up to pick up their children,
Right.
right? The
Right.
seniors leaving, potentially some still turning left, and is the traffic light going to go on the other side?
Yes.
So closer
on
to
the
Canfield.
South
South side,
not the
okay.
north side, yes. South side, south of Lawrence, south of Lawrence.
Council Chair?
We already coordinated that with the school, so they know about it.
Council Chair?
Yeah, go ahead, Councilman.
Do you know if this type of sign is legal or law enforcement as I mean, could you get a ticket for running this sign?
No, none of them
Where
can.
traffic
Even-
sign you couldn't, so they could run through this and nothing happened to them.
The same for the pedestrian crossing on demand. So any of these things, the yellow, you don't get a ticket. You get a warning, but it's not enforceable.
So I know at like Riverside, it says at like 3 o'clock, I thank you to our honorable council, our Madam Clerk. At Riverside, it blinks 25 miles per hour in yellow. So at the certain hours, you're in a school zone at like release,
Right.
it blinks at
Is
a
that
color.
enforceable?
That is enforceable.
Yes.
But this, we're not going to have anything like that. So can we have where, look, we're going to be putting all this money and potentially putting in almost a $200,000 thing from MDOT that doesn't even have an enforcement on there. We should have a 25 mile per hour blinking at those hours.
add it?
Look, guys,
We need to coordinate with the police, but yes, they set the speed limits, and that could be done if we coordinate with the
I mean, the
police.
law in a school zone is 25 miles.
15 miles an hour.
No, but at release,
Yeah.
release it's 25, but we don't have anything indicating it right now. Right now, all you have is a sign on Beach Daily says
And
25
in
miles per
Well,
hour.
you would put that on there.
In our study, we do have locations where we recommend a speed zone, a speed limit speed zone, where the speed limit would be reduced during school hours to 25. So that is one thing that we do recommend, and we would need to coordinate that with the police.
You also recommend speed humps around schools?
Raised crossing.
We get to that, yes, we have some recommendations for speed tables, so they're raised crosswalks that put the pedestrian in the driver's view better. Also, it slows down traffic calming. So again, with the enhanced RFB, as it was mentioned, these are more expensive. We really want to use them when there's multiple lanes. So you can see here in the example, there's 3 lanes, higher speeds, things like that. It's really appropriate in those types of situations. And then, so we've got considerations. We looked at the RFB. Possibly, we know there's some changes happening at Riverside. We would need to do a little bit more analysis and monitoring of the changes, but looking at possibly an RFB or a Hawk on Warren, we noticed that the kids are really crossing right in that location where we have the star. And then again, the enhanced RFB at Crestwood High School, shown with the red star. And a separate study was done and separate design is being done at that location.
If you don't mind me asking, what year was that study done?
So, the observations were done during the winter of this winter, actually this school year. However, a couple of comments, and I'm trying to coordinate. After the bond sale was passed, there are a lot of projects that are coming down the pike, and we're just getting bits and pieces of what the schools are trying to do, and we have a combination of projects that, as we are going to coordinate our work with the schools so that we're not building anything that the school is going to demo for us. So there are not just the Riverside, we have a bunch of other recommendations that the schools are doing. So we need to coordinate our projects together. So we're not going to build anything that the school is going to demo. We will coordinate that.
Okay. So now getting into some of the recommendations at the schools. Thorne, we looked at an RFB on Annapolis. There's a couple of locations that it may work at. You can see here the red circles. One of those locations we're looking into doing a rapid flashing beacon. We need to install ADA compliant ramps and a sidewalk connection. So it's a little bit tricky in this location. So we're looking into that and doing some field design work to determine which location would be best there. Another good location, St. Lioness Catholic School. This is kind of set up right here for a mid-block crossing. You can see there's a crossing there, and we think, based on the analysis, a rapid flashing beacon would work pretty well here. And then another thing that we looked at, we heard the desire and need for flashing stop signs. Currently, these are allowed to be used with the new guidance. There's information on the intensity of the LED. There's information and guidance on the flashing and the lighting conditions. But there's no information really on the distances between these types of devices. So what we're recommending is a pilot project at 3 of the most troubled schools, 3 of the schools that had had the crashes. And then we are going to monitor the effectiveness at those 3 locations and look into adding more at those locations if it's working out well, and then more at other locations as well. So the 3 pilot projects, first, number 1, Pardee Elementary School. We know there was the fatal crash that had occurred there. We really want to make sure that safety is improved all along the school zone. So we're going to recommend flashing LED stop signs at kind of the 3 entrance intersections to the school. And again, we don't want to put them everywhere because we don't know how everybody's going to react to them. We don't know how intense it's going to be in the neighborhoods, in people's homes that might be flashing. So we want to do a pilot project and also monitor their effectiveness. So make sure that no additional crashes are happening with those. And then the raised intersection. So we know, again, this will slow down traffic. That's really a need in this area with the crash that had happened. And the conditions that exist currently, we do see that people are speeding. The raised intersection, there's an example at the top there in yellow, but basically what it does is puts the middle of the intersection and the crossings at about 3 or more inches higher, and it really forces people in the motor vehicles to slow down as they go through the intersection. So another pilot project at this location.
So part of the of us looking at effective solutions at low cost, because if you recall, recently added some money in our next year's budget from 100 to 300, if you recall, Council Chair, and that is the Act 51. So I'm trying to live within that amount of money for all the schools, and these are for the cost, the most effective.
What about Monroe and Powers? One of the most busiest intersections. Kids are constantly crossing that road. Did we do a study? Did we look at Monroe and Powers?
We looked at all of them. Did you have any data with you?
We have recommendations for all the schools. I'm not sure if I have that intersection in this presentation.
Yeah.
It's a 4-way stop there, too.
Yeah, it's a 4-way stop. It's extremely busy. You should really look at that section. And then I know that you guys, we talked about the stripes that we added last year. They're almost already peeling in front of some of the schools, like legit gone.
We have that.
And I know that one of the things that we said why DPW couldn't do it was because their paint was peeling, and this was supposed to be the most promising paint. It hasn't even been a year, less than a year.
We have the contract. It's still under warranty, so yeah, we have contacted the company. Yeah.
Council Chair.
So that's the for the.
Okay.
What's that?
And
Councilman
then-
Ahmad had a quick
Oh,
question.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, if we go back, you kept saying the sign would be not warranted. What do you mean by not warranted?
So
That's
sign or the signal?
The beach, so there's a series of 9, I think it's 9 warrants that you have to go through, and at least one you have to qualify for in order to warrant a signal through the MDOT standards. And if you don't meet that requirement on any one of those warrants, you
Is public
won't
safety
fund it.
is public safety one of them? Because do they not know kids are getting hit by cars on Beach daily? 'Cause to me, that should be warranted.
It's not what you're thinking. Warrant is a classification. There are items, 9 items that the state makes you look at in determining whether a signal is allowed in that action. So you have to, if you don't meet one of them, you're not allowed to have a signal.
So you have to meet all 9 of
You
them.
have to meet
You have to-
All 9 or just
You have to
one?
meet-
Just one.
One.
You have to be one?
Yes.
Like the council chair said, yeah.
Yeah, so the
Like kid
warrants,
safety is not one of them?
traffic safety is one of them.
Okay.
There's a crash warrant, there's traffic volume warrants, so different types of traffic volumes. There's an 8-hour warrant, a peak hour warrant. There's also consideration of the crashes. So like I mentioned, it would have to have 5 or more crashes in a 12-month period that's correctable by a traffic signal. We just,
Oh,
at
that's
that
easy.
location, there were not 5 in a 12-month
They
period.
look at statistics, so they do look at statistics before they allow you to do something. You know, you just don't put a signal anywhere you feel like it. It's law. But
And
anyway,
they look, because there was funding involved with that project, it's something that we have to do a study for, and we did as part of it. And it just didn't meet any of the warrants for a full stop-and-go traffic signal at that location.
we're using 80% grant from the state for this, so we had to play it by their rules. Anyway,
Okay?
Part D Elementary?
Okay, that was the first pilot project for the flashing LED stop signs. The second is Highview Elementary School. Again, these are recommended in areas where there's residential area right adjacent to the school and where we saw crashes. So we have them surrounding the 4 intersections, main intersections surrounding the school here. And then the third is Star International Academy. We're recommending the LED stop signs where there's 4-way stops currently surrounding the school. You'll notice at George and Drexel, we don't have one there. We're looking at possibly, there's also warrants for a 4-way stop. So we're looking at warrants there to see if a 4-way stop is warranted, then we would add the LED flashers there. Go ahead.
And again, because of the uniqueness of each school, you notice this particular school, we have the flashing stop sign on all 4 corners. And then on Fenton, we're having to create 2 RRFB crossing because you've got parking as well as a football field on one side and the schools on the east side. So you have pedestrian crossing or student crossing at variable locations. All these data, the data was observed during the winter months. So the data we collected is playing a big role in making the recommendations and trying to address every problem we identified. And that's one of them. This is probably one of the most challenging locations we had.
Yes, and then you can see here where we have the school signs, we're recommending the rapid flashing beacons. And in those locations, there's already a mid-block crossing and a very heavily used area by pedestrians.
Yep.
So definitely want to slow down the traffic in this area. There's kids and students crossing very often and a large volume of them. So those are 2 more additional locations for the rapid flashing beacons. Again, we looked at areas for raised crosswalks. What those are raised speed tables or crossings. They're mostly located at mid-block crossings, but we looked again at certain locations where they might be applicable at a stop sign. It's a traffic calming measure, which means it helps to slow down the traffic. It's something that you drive over, so it forces you to slow down. And they've been found to reduce pedestrian crashes by 45%.
Council Chair?
Yes, sir.
What are they made out of?
Asphalt, isn't it?
Yes.
Concrete.
So
Asphalt, are they?
Asphalt?
it could be asphalt or concrete,
Concrete.
either one.
Paper.
Here's a location where we were looking at implementing a raised crossing at the school here. This school crossing at Hillcrest, it's the parking lot, but it also turns into a roadway, so.
It's the craziest thing, and then you gotta go down, and you can't see a car that's coming in.
Right, so
You might even need one of those mirrors to be able to see who's coming in and out.
Right, so it's really important on this location to try to slow down the traffic, because not only is it traffic going to the parking lot for the school, but it's cut-through traffic, which is
Yes.
a big problem when you've got students trying to cross.
Yep. So this is one of the recommendations that the school had shared with us. They also recognize that to be an issue. So they proposed some new design. So what I need to do is their designer and our designer get together so that when we come up with a final solution that the two of us agree on.
Yeah, they have improvements getting closer to this, but additionally, we're recommending on top of what they propose, a bump out, which would be another raised area that would be a safe refuge in that yellow area for pedestrians. And then connected to that bump out would be the raised crosswalk.
Yep.
And then next steps. So continued efforts. This hasn't ended with our study or project. We are continuing to look at improvements and coordinating further for longer term solutions. Definitely will require school coordination and administration input. Again, we don't want to implement these improvements without the input from the schools and make sure that they're on board with everything. We are definitely going to be monitoring the effectiveness of those 3 pilot projects for the flashing stop signs. And we are very hopeful that they are going to work well and that we'll be able to make recommendations for additional locations. Any projects or recommendations involving Wayne County roads, we will be coordinating with them. There's not very many. Most are on city roads. Want to make sure that there's education for the students and the parents, that they understand the meaning of the rapid flashing beacons that are going to be implemented and some of the signage, and just make sure that they know how to use them. And then enforcement is always important, working with the police to make sure that they enforce the speed limits and stop sign compliance.
So finally, I'd like to add one more thing. So we try to coordinate our projects with communities that have done similar work so we can learn lessons learned, from other communities. So part of the input for this presentation was lessons we learned from Dearborn's. We meet with Dearborn quite a bit, and we took into account their crossing devices, mid-block crossing. And a lot of it, we took the lessons that most of them that didn't work, we asked the reason why, and that was, we discovered that the field observation was not done. So when you skip the field observation and you just go by the book, pedestrians, especially students, don't go by the book. They're basically, that's the natural crossing. That's where they cross. So as a result, we're trying to tailor our treatment to what we see in the field, which is why we have 2 crossings near Star, Academy, because that's where the traffic is. So we're trying to learn lessons learned from other communities. So
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Councilman.
Mr. Deeb, was there any plans for OW Best?
yeah, it should be on that thing. We have
What's happening there?
OWS is one of the schools.
Middle
Yes.
school.
Yep.
What's the plan for?
It's not on that presentation, but we have a full design. We'll bring him back.
Because I was a crossing guard there for a few days.
Where you got yelled at.
Yeah, I got yelled at. And it's a two lane one way, and it needs a no left turn on Lincoln. It's I think
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it's on Powers on Lincoln, so you need no left turn on Lincoln
we had
during
some parents come up and tell us that exact
because
comment.
when
So-
people are leaving, people trying to make a left on Lincoln, people trying to make a left on Powers, and it's just a
So
mess.
there's going to be quite a bit. Before we're ready for bid, I just wanted to make sure that the council is aware of what the phase 2 is going to involve. We haven't even talked about the details for each school, but it will be, we intend to have this ready before school's out, so take advantage of the school recess, but yes.
Yeah, kind of looking at the operational situation at each school is kind of a whole other animal that we didn't get into. We don't want to go in there and say, you need to completely redesign your whole traffic flow. That's something that the schools.
I mean, no, I understand
really-
every school has
yeah,
a different
but,
situation,
yeah.
but some of them are just simple fixes.
Right.
Like no left turn on Lincoln, or don't drop your kids off from the far lane. It's just.
Right.
Again, every school, Councilman, is so unique. When we were looking the field observation down here for the start, we had people that wanted to turn George into a one-way, eastbound only, one-way traffic. And it's not as simple, because what you're going to do now is people going around to put additional traffic, because you still have to go to Telluride, so they're just going to move the
Guys,
same
I
traffic down.
want to start over with this meeting.
Yes.
So I want to finish this presentation. I still think that this needs to be somewhat of a study session. I think we need to hear more. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions. I also would like to know, like what's the time frame? I know we got some money. What is this going to cost us? What are the signages going to cost us? I think we need to go in a little bit more in depth. I know Councilman Wanso requested this to get a quick presentation, but we've been here for almost an hour on this, and you did a great job. But I still think that we have a lot of questions from some of our residents.
Okay.
This is very, very near and dear to many people, especially in Dearborn Heights. It's 4 years, long overdue. And I thank Mr. Deeb and Wade Trim for coming together, but we need a deeper dive into this.
Okay.
And I'm definitely going to request for something maybe in the coming weeks.
Council Chair.
That we can sit down and have discussions on as well. Yeah, Councilman.
Something real quick. The pilot programs, is there funding available for those pilot programs, or are we gonna have to raise those funds somehow? Quick answer.
Okay, so we're using
three
the
pri-
Act 51 money that was just added to the budget 2 weeks ago, Council Chair. Remember you took it from 100 to 300? That's my budget.
Yeah, but
For
but if we didn't give you that, where were you going to get the money from?
I was going to use the 100 that we had before.
Do we have enough money to do the 3 pilot projects?
I believe we do, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the school zones are a priority, obviously. But did we, doing our survey work, did we go around the whole city and do surveys?
All the schools,
Okay, good.
all the schools.
And
It was always intended to have the full schools. Yeah.
I talked to Ali Deeb a few days ago, and I think it'd be a good idea to have a little committee of
Yes.
some residents on it, like Margaret King and
Yes.
council
I
representative.
thought we had that.
So
It's something different. This is, we have the safety.
Yeah, and they
Public
got no
Safety
recognition.
Commission.
We're just gonna keep
But
it
this would be a separate thing, having a member of that commission on this special.
I think the Public Safety Commission should be doing it. You already have
Yeah.
through here, like Margaret King, Rachel Lapointe.
Yeah, a point, they could be part of it, because we're just finding out about this, and I'm sure there's a couple things that happened in the last month or so that we didn't know about. Nothing, not saying anything, like a meeting or something here or there. And it'd be good to have,
Okay, so when we talked on the phone, I indicated that I'm looking for a committee or to implement
Yeah.
the safety committee for this SS4A project, which is looking at the entire city streets, not just the schools. So we are going to have that committee activated. We recently gave that, you approved the contract with Wade Trim. This is the Safe Street for All. And that's
Safe
looking for
Streets
the SS4A. This is for the entire city. This is just limited to the schools. This is the school crossing. But yes, you're right. The safety committee, and I asked you if we can get the names, and I know a couple of names, but I need all of them. And then I'll be happy.
I'll have them at the next meeting.
Fine.
All right, guys, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. Did you say there was a time frame on this for us, Mr. Deeb?
No, this is just to bring you up to speed to what we're doing. We intend to have it done this summer, so we'll have a study session as we get closer to actual details, and we show you for each one of the 21 schools. I didn't want to spend 2 hours tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Each one of the 21 schools, what the treatments are.
Thank you.
We'll go from there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, yeah. Good job.
Any other questions from any council members before we move on to agenda approval?
Gonna be done.
Thank you, Mr. Deeb. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you, everybody.
This will be done before next school year? Really? Yeah, during summer, good. Thank you.
God willing, I feel like we've got like 20 of these already.
Council Chair.
Next up, we have agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda for the regular meeting of May 27, 2025 as submitted.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion? Councilman Saab, thank you and welcome back.
Thank you.
Next, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have approval of minutes.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of May 13, 2025 as outlined in 4-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have public hearings and public comments. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. I know that you asked for an additional minute. Is that correct? Or 2 minutes?
Well,
What?
because I'm speaking on behalf of the Civic Association, and then I want to speak on behalf
So you're going to
of-
get a minute extra and a minute extra. So you're going to go 3 minutes and 3 minutes.
Well, it's 2 and 2 will be good.
Okay, then that's fine. You can
Yeah.
speak as,
Okay.
okay. So you're making an announcement on behalf of GMCA.
Right.
Go
So
ahead.
Sue Kaminsky, part of Gulfview Manor Civic Association, which is the oldest civic association that's active in the state of Michigan. We had an emergency meeting last week in discussion regarding the fire station. Gulfview Manor, wants to work with the city, with the police, with the firemen, and certainly support all of that. However, we feel that the 2 proposed locations, neither of them have been properly vetted by the city, that proper drainage, sewage, piping has not been taken into consideration, and we respectfully ask that our 502 houses be listened to, and not just ours, but there's houses that are between the golf course and Gulfview Manor, and those houses are at certainly more risk. And we're looking at possible risk for any of the citizens in Dearborn Heights as far as drainage. Proper assessment has not been done, so we ask that a specialist engineer with drainage come and assess the situation, that it not be someone affiliated with the city or with Wade Trim, that it be completely independent. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's on behalf of Gulfview Manor.
Okay. Now, please, ma'am, state your name, the city, reside on the street that you live on.
So, Sue Kaminsky, Amboy Street, Dearborn Heights, and I'm not as nice as Gulfview Manor. Wasn't that a great presentation, though, regarding the schools? And the schools are going to be putting in crossing walks, and they actually went out and they got specialists to assess the situation before something's done. What a concept! What a concept! We should do that in the city for the fire station. By the way, folks, the fire station isn't something new that we didn't know about. When Bill Bozzi first became mayor in January of 2021, he actually said we needed a fire station. So all this BS about not having time to find an adequate situation and solution in land is bull. We've had more than enough time, and the city has failed once again to even address other sites to look at it. It could have been the old Mountain Jacks. It could be now Warren Beach has a business that's out of business. It could have been at Telegraph and Warren. It could have been a lot of places, but we never even looked. And this city continues to fail time and time again. And as a resident who cares about the city, who loves this city, I want to see the city do what needs to be done. And I respect Mr. Deeb. I want an independent engineering group to come in and look. There is drainage from multiple cities that can be affected that go under Gulfview or the Warren Valley Golf Course. And none of this has been addressed. And we're talking about 2 sites, and we might lose funding, not because this council hasn't done anything. We might lose funding because the city had already decided where they wanted. They haven't done a damn thing about it. And as a resident, I am tired of this city not adequately representing the citizens. It needs to be done.
Thank you so much, ma'am. How you doing, ma'am? Please state your name, the city, reside in, and the street that you live on. Thank you, Sue.
Margaret King, Mayfair Street. I want to say thank you, Ali Deeb, and I want to say thank you to everybody that got this presentation together for our school zones. That is one of the things that I hold close to my heart. I'm happy to see it coming, and I can't wait to see the boots on the ground and everything get taken care of. But is there a phase 3? And what would that be if there is? Do we know? No. No? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else in the audience? Yes, ma'am, how you doing? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
All right, my name is Rima Haddad. I live on Riverview Street. I've actually came here to talk about the trash issue we have in the city. I know that Dearborn Heights tends to not be a very walkable city, aside from the school zones. But I do unfortunately walk everywhere, and I do take the bus when necessary. And there is trash absolutely everywhere. I've taken my own initiative to clean it up in my past time, but there is so much, and it's been there for months and even years, to the point where it crumbles in your hand, and it's infested with bugs and wildlife. And I was wondering if there was any initiative, any consideration at all to actually clean up the city.
Thank you so much. Is our DPW director here, John Dancy? But I believe he's on Zoom. There he is. Give me a second.
Are you all set, miss? Any more questions?
Yeah, that's
Well, hang on right there for us.
Oh, you're fine.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here. I guess it'll take a consistent effort with, ordinance, council, administration, social media, and public works. From a public works perspective, it's not really in our purview or expertise. We'll go out and try to assist in large issues, large things blocking city right-of-ways, things like that. But when it comes to just purely a garbage and littering issue, it's all Parks and Rec, council, administration, social media campaign of some kind. So it's something at least I'll consider as in our discussions, both with the administration and with council, to find some kind of way to address it, because I've noticed it. If you think about it, it's a statewide and probably a countrywide issue.
Yeah,
Garbage
I agree.
everywhere. It doesn't matter where you drive on the highway. It doesn't matter where you walk. It's something that I think even on a larger scale at some point should be addressed. But why is it just Dearborn Heights? You being here, bringing it into the awareness, and then said it's a multifaceted effort, but it will take a decent amount from social media. And I was almost going to mention something about that at parks. I urge all the residents and the people that visit parks, stop trashing them. We go out there and we pick them up as often as possible. Parks and Rec has been out there as often as possible. But we'll consider your comments and stay active as you can from your perspective.
I will also tell you, to kind of piggyback off of our DPW director, the truth is, it starts with our residents. When I saw pictures just this weekend of the new state-of-the-art park at Silvery Lane, Van Hoen Park, I was so disappointed to see what it looks legit. It is pure trashed. And it's not happening because the kids are doing it. It starts with the parents. So if you want to use our parks, don't put us in a position where we're going to start monitoring who uses these parks, because the way it looks was so disappointing. I actually spoke with three DPW employees today, and they showed me photos. I drove by Van Hoen this weekend, and I want to say there was close to maybe 50 kids there. But that means there was at least 50 parents. And the parents got to do better, because it was so disappointing. And so we as a community, we can't keep asking, what is government going to do to pick up people's trash? There needs to be a campaign on what are parents going to do, what are residents going to do, and what is our garbage companies going to do? Before coming to the city council meeting, my next door neighbor had his 16-year-old son's birthday party, stacks the pizza, put it on top of the garbage. The garbage man threw it over. Some of them didn't make it into the garbage bin. It was all over my lawn. I picked it up.
Yeah.
I put it inside their trash bin.
I'm very aware of that, and I do
Yeah.
try to talk to the people around me as to what they do in terms of litter and stuff like that. However, when it's stuff, I walk across the city. I don't care if there isn't even a designated crosswalk, sidewalk. I really don't care. It's full of trash, and it's been there for years, to the point where all of it is faded into blue and white, and there's literally bugs and snakes and frogs living inside of them. I don't know how it can go for literal years, because I've lived here my entire life, for no one to pick it up. I get that maybe it's a resident issue, but when there's literally nobody around, I'm what else is it?
Council Chair.
Yep.
I want to put something on the record here. Thank you for bringing your comments to us.
Of course.
But just for the record, I don't know if you're familiar with our government or not. We approved a resolution last year to hire 3 more ordinance officers. this administration and the current mayor refuse to hire any of them to go out and ticket people, fight blight in our city, and for the trash.
I see.
So to come here and explain that you're as sick of it as we are, we put the resolution, put the manpower out. The administration failed to do it. The administration had other priorities than the looks of the city and the trash of the city. So I understand where you're coming from. It's been that for years. But for the past 4 years, I can agree with you as a resident, not as a councilman only. The city's gone downhill under this administration. And this administration, instead of hiring people, they've been eliminating people. So that's where it starts at. It starts at government. Yes, we took the action that we took and the course we took to put more manpower on there. Yes, I do agree. Trash should not be in front of your house. Everybody should be ticketed. We actually had another resolution to raise fines because when you hit people in their pockets, they'll actually abide and do things. But to come and only complain to council and to the government, we also got to put a responsibility on the residents. Because if you live next to a resident that does not clean up, does not maintain their lawn or anything, it's as easy as picking up the phone, calling the ordinance department to report it. Because unfortunately, city employees and city government can't be at every single house throughout the city and looking at every block and every house. But I do agree with you. We got to do more. And by doing more is putting more people on the streets.
I do want to know, before coming here, I did watch about 3 of the previous meetings to see if it was at all mentioned. It was not mentioned at all. That's part of the reason why I want to come here and speak out about it, even if I haven't really involved myself in city politics whatsoever. I am trying to get more involved because I'm aware just focusing on federal politics and even state politics is absolutely nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
In regards to Van Houten Park, do we know if they've repaired the lights there yet or turned them on? Reason I ask is when I spoke to residents recently, there's not only a daytime crowd, but there's a shady nighttime crowd that hangs out in that park that's causing issues. And I think lighting it up might deter them from showing up.
That's, I believe, with DTE.
DTE.
Didn't,
I believe there's something on this meeting or the past meeting we approved for new lights in the park.
Council Chair? Council Chair, real quick.
Well, let the councilwoman first, and then you can answer the question.
I want to see.
Councilwoman, there are 2 issues with the lights. One, additional lights in the parking lot, that's still coming. Unfortunately, DTE is the entity. We wanted to make sure that DTE installs them because they're part of the DTE maintenance contract. And we also have the light inside the park, which apparently were working, and all of a sudden we had a cable failure on one of the cables. So that's scheduled for this Saturday.
perfect, yeah, because like I said, the nighttime crowd that hangs out there is really shady.
I'm aware of that, but that fault, it's only DTE can do because it was on the distribution cable, and it caused the fault, and then some of them stayed on, and one was burned. So unfortunately, we have to bring the contractor back because they have to cut the soft material to get to that cable and restore it back.
Okay, as long as
So
it's
this
being
Saturday.
addressed,
This Saturday.
because it's a safety issue too, you know? With summer coming, the kids are going to be going out later at night.
How you doing, sir?
He's got a comment.
I just want to further address all the problems at the parks. I don't take anything lightly here. When people call me and complain, I'm on it. Van Houten Park is busier than we ever dreamed of. The place is unbelievable.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, I seen the problems there. I already start working on it. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we will be deploying people from parks that will be park attendants. We don't have any budget for it, but I found budget, and we're trying to get them. We have HR trying to express them through so we can get someone there to pick up the park. 2 weeks ago, I think when you were doing the cleanup at the Ray Center, the park was so bad and so much garbage that I went there and I cleaned it up myself for 4 hours. I can't tell you how much garbage I took out of that park, but you learn a lot when you walk through a park and clean up the garbage. I found there are 12 garbage cans in that park, and I picked up 100 water bottles, and they were probably only 2 feet from the garbage cans. The garbage cans didn't seem to help, but we're going to try to keep these parks clean. We're not going to let anybody take over the parks. There'd be a mess on it. I'm getting the calls on the problems at the parks, kids there at night. I notified the police chief to up the patrols, but obviously our police are very busy. So it was something that if they could drive through and try to help, they will, but obviously they have more important calls to do. The problems still keep coming in. Still a lot of problems late at night with the kids. There was only one solution. We'll be asking you for permission, but we're going to have to put gates up at that park to shut it down when the park closes at night, so we can help take care of that. So we're trying to find solutions that are practical, that work every day. And if you call me and tell me there's a problem, we're going to try to find it.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you.
Councilman, Council Chair?
Thank you.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Councilman next.
It bears repeating, Director Zaboznik came to our cleanup project a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, was there for a little bit. He says, unfortunately, I've got to go. I've got something that's more important to me right now. And he left and spent the whole morning, 3 or 4 hours at least, cleaning Van Houten Park by himself. And he took some pictures of it and he shared them with me. And that's the kind of attitude this guy's got. And I believe, even though he doesn't live in Dearborn Heights right now, I heard a rumor that he is moving back into Dearborn Heights to help serve the city better.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Go ahead, Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. I just want to echo whatever Councilman Wenzel said. I did reach out to the director too for a different park, and I want to echo whatever you said too. It starts with us, the parents. I mean, I reached out for him because there's a playscape that had the piece broken, and I reached out to him to be fixed. And I just learned this wasn't the first time to be broken. And for somebody to break it, it had to be an adult or maybe an older kid. So, I mean, it starts with us, starts with the parents. Make sure, I mean, your kids are not there to damage, but to play safely. And that's it.
Thank you, guys. All right, sir. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Vince Drapkowski, Columbia Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, Wayne County. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the council, and where's Roger?
He's sick.
He's sick.
He's helping Bill back? Okay. Good evening. I'm here to discuss item 9A. This is a vacant lot that's on Ann Arbor Trail on Columbia Street, just east of Inkster Road. Several times this has been brought up at the City Planning Commission, and it has failed for one thing or another. And it also, the people that are interested in reconstructing it and having it rezoned have failed to give the Planning Commission information that they requested. Also, during some of these meetings, the Planning Commission seemed to think that the city master plan wasn't worth following because of its age. Well, let me tell you something. If I go out and deer hunt and I don't follow the Department of Natural Resources rules because they're aged, I'm going to get a ticket for overbaiting or overfishing or anything like that. So rules are rules, no matter how old they are. And then some of the Planning Commission seem to think, well, it's their property, let them do what they want. I don't go for that. There are rules to be followed, things that need to be done properly, and follow the rules and regulations. Also, it's residents of the Marguerite and Capri subdivision that are going to end up paying for it. The field that they are talking about is also holds water through the majority of the year. I asked for extra time.
Yeah, you do get an extra minute.
Okay. So remember that it holds water. Right now, the city doesn't have the money to go in and rebuild the infrastructure that it would need for what they are introducing as a two-building condominium complex / apartments, which is something we don't need in the area. What we need is small residential housing, senior housing or little housing for people that want to downsize. If you take a look in the area, and if they actually did a study of the area, they would see that there are approximately, 10 condo complexes in the area, 4 trailer parks, and roughly 20 other apartment complexes. So what they are introducing is really not needed for this area. I know that it's their property. They probably paid a boatload of money for it or whatever. But come up with something else.
Thank you, sir.
Like I suggested earlier, which is needed in the area.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you for your time. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Vince.
Thank you.
Hey, do man, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Angela Venegas, Dwight Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, and I would like to congratulate the young lady who had the courage to come up here and speak about what she's seen in the neighborhoods, the garbage, the blight. As you know, that's my big pet peeve. So I would like to know, since we seem that we can't figure out who owns the property between Clairview on Beach Daily in Ann Arbor Trail, Hines Drive area, have anybody in council taken a ride down Beach Daily and seen what the kids at Riverside are walking through to get to and from school? The grass at the guardrails is about this tall. There's garbage, crap everywhere. The fencing there is broken. Dearborn Heights, for the last 4 years, has downgraded under this administration. We are starting to look horrible, horrible. This city is embarrassing right now. I used to be proud to say I lived here, not anymore. And I want to emphasize the parks. Parents, get your house in order with your children. It's just not the parks. How many more 16-year-olds do we have to see flip their cars in Dearborn Heights? 1 car accidents. And then I got to listen to you when one of your kids dies. My poor child. Parents, get on your children. Let them know that car that you bought for them is like a loaded gun. They can be killed and kill with it. This isn't funny. Driving is a privilege. And all the money you have in the world and all the cars that you're buying your kids, when your kid's life is ruined and they're dead sitting on the pavement, all your money isn't going to bring your child back. We need to start holding parents accountable. And young lady, don't give up. I go out and I pick up garbage on Warren. I've picked up garbage down Beach Daily. Don't give up. We live here, and if we don't teach our children better and we don't start being better as adults, this is what it's coming to.
Thank you. Hey, do ma'am, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You got 2 minutes.
Renee Myrna, Dearborn Heights, Annapolis Street. 2 things about the crosswalks, all that going on. Is it possible just to close the streets during certain hours at school time so they can cross? It's not
That's
a
the law.
possibility. How about recruiting whoever lives across the street to be the crosswalk person for the day? You know, some of the neighbors. What happened to the old crossing guards? I mean, can't we just pay crossing guards to, you know?
We have those. Nobody wants to do them. You can find anybody that wants to do it. We're hiring.
All right, come on, seniors my age, you know, let's go out there. And the other thing is, the young lady here, there's more people out there that do good. You know, it's not everybody that does bad. It's just that the ones that do bad sometimes make it look worse than it really is out there. You have to really know that there's other people that do good. Because I want to tell you, my house is exactly 1 McDonald's drink away from McDonald's. And how I can tell is I always get their cups right on my lawn. Like as soon as I get to my lawn, I get the like hamburger boxes and the cups and all that. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, at first I'm like, how come is it my house? It's not the next door house. It's not. Well, then I realized, well, it's because I can pray for these people. So ever since I started praying for them, they stopped doing it. And I'm like, now who am I going to pray for? So I picked you guys. So that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? I see we have one on Zoom.
Council Chair, before we do that, Council Chair, I have a statement to make, but I don't want to go up to the podium. Okay, if I sit here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This past weekend, I had the privilege to, me and my family, to attend a memorial service for Jason Makowski and Robert Duadate and Dowdate, thank you. And several of us here were at the event too. It was a very nice event put on by, Angela helped out and
Barbara
Barbara helped out. Vince, they did a really good job. And it's a shame that's our city's only Memorial Day event that was officially sanctioned by the city. the STEP post holds a function on Memorial Day morning, and St. Henry Cemetery does. But all the things that I do and I'm involved with, if I'm elected again or not, I guarantee you, next year, Memorial Day, the city of Dearborn Heights will be sponsoring a major Memorial Day event in cooperation with the other events that go on. I promise you. Thank you.
All right. How you doing, sir? You have 2 minutes. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
My name is Nader Abuzeni. I live in Dearborn Heights on Kenmore.
Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for your availability and the efforts that you guys put forth to improve the city. I know that there are a lot of challenges, be they financial or logistical, whatever it may be. I know that the job that you guys have isn't easy, and we appreciate what you guys do. Talking specifically about 9A on the agenda, the rezoning of the property on Ann Arbor Trail from R1 to RM. The property is intended to provide a significant benefit to the city. It provides housing options for future residents. It will provide housing options for future residents. Okay, it'll provide a significant tax, a revenue increase for the city. I was here earlier today when you guys were talking about the improvements to this police equipment that's out there. And I'm not saying this is going to cover that or anything along those lines, but I know that there's need for taxes in the city, and this will help from that perspective. In regards to some of the commentary I made earlier regarding things stated as fact that may be opinion, I ask that the city council use objective facts and data when they're making their decision. Opinions about the elevations and the claim that it can't be built upon and things of that nature. These are all matters of opinion, not fact. I also ask that the council consider the 9 specific questions that are asked for rezoning and how the city engineer has responded to those specifically, all in favor of the proposed residential. Just to comment on that, there was no information that was requested that was not provided. All information that was provided in the packet to the Planning Commission was deemed sufficient. We're in a situation right now where we're looking to get zoning. We're not trying to put the cart in front of the horse and say, hey, this is what the building plans are. That'd be a waste of efforts to put building plans out there before we have rezoning. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing, ma'am? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
My name is Sandra Riley. I live on Kenmore Street, and I am addressing 9A also. I am here to oppose the rezoning of the said property from single-family multiple to multiple family. I feel that a single family is consistent with the other homes that are north of Ann Arbor Trail and should be developed as such. Rezoning would be a permanent and cannot be changed back. After rezoning is done, there is no guarantee what will eventually go there, regardless of what the owners say. Today, let's see, they may not proceed as planned and sell to another developer who doesn't have the same vision. Owners may say what their ultimate plan is, but if rezoning is granted, we have no say in what it will become, even though they have a plan now, which can be changed to anything, nothing preventing this. Once it is rezoned, we cannot go back to single-family housing. Thank you.
Thank you. How you doing, ma'am? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Sure. My name is Yasmin Hajar. I live on Kenmore Street in Dearborn Heights, and I am the owner of that Ann Arbor Trail property. And I will piggyback on what you said. We have people that maintain that property, and if you saw the garbage they picked up from that property, you would be shocked. All right? It's a vacant land. It's been vacant for as long as we've owned it, and prior to that. Change is inevitable. I know we heard concerns about privacy and 2 stories. If we went with single homes, they'd be 2 stories. We need to recognize we need to do the greater good, the good for the greater community. Building that property would do just that for the city of Dearborn Heights. We live in Dearborn Heights. We own multiple properties. We know there is a need for
Point of order, nothing
property.
From the audience, please.
Yeah, thanks. So I just wanted to add that, I just wanted to put that out there. I do own the property. We've owned it for a while. And this is, our plan is to develop it. Like my husband said, we're not putting the cart in front of the carriage. We have done some soil sampling and all kinds of analysis on the property, and it is deemed okay to build on. So just wanted to add that. And I'll keep it below my 4 minutes, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the audience? How you doing, sir? Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street that
John
you live on.
Merzgalad. I live directly across the street from that property. And I don't know where she's coming up with this garbage thing. I get more McDonald's cups and, containers on my lawn. There's never been a problem with garbage on that. The only thing that had been.
Guys, point of order. Nothing from the audience, guys. This is not going to be a back and forth, please.
The only
Go ahead,
problem has been the grass cutting throughout the years. Between the street and the sidewalk, which is a huge area, I used to cut that for years and years and years, just so it would look good, make my house look better. That's the only problem. There's never been a garbage issue there. And I've been working with the DNR. And according to the DNR, which I'm still waiting for a call back today, I never got it. That is considered a wetland because of how much water is there throughout the year. Certain things, but I don't have anything on paper yet because it's supposed to come back today, didn't come back. I got no problem building something there, but it's got to be conducive to the community. But that's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else in the audience? Seeing none, we're going to move it to, did you want to say something, sir? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on, please.
Yeah, my name is Man Darwish. I live in Evangelini Street, Dearborn Heights. I want to say something about city ordinance for rezoning Ann Arbor Trail. Per city ordinance, you allowed to build on a property structure 35%. If you want to build condos or apartment, you allowed to build only 30%. Side setback for houses, minimum 6 feet. Side setback for apartment or condos, it's at 20 feet. So when you do rezoning, that you build less and you have more grass than when you build a house. That's all I was going to explain. So it's less structure and less concrete.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the audience? No, I'm sorry, you had your 2 minutes. Thank you. Next up, we're going to go to Zoom. We have Rachel. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You have 2 minutes.
Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. So I was looking at, I don't remember what agenda item it is, but the budget and the tax rates for the upcoming fiscal year. And I had a question about the sanitation one, the one that's under 1 mil. I think it's proposed to be like 0.89. That one was last voted in 2020. And it's specifically to cover the costs related to the Central Lane Sanitation Authority. I was looking back at the numbers from 2023, 2024, and that year we were taxing, the total amount brought in was about 1.4 million, but the amount that we actually spent on that item as it approved in the millage was only about 800,000. So it seems like that fiscal year, 23, 24, we were overtaxing people by about double what it should have been. So I was just wondering if we had looked at those millage rates and made sure that if there's any ones that have restricted funding that they go to, like that one, Act 345, right, that when we're getting those that we are not overtaxing, and then that money's going into the general fund and not being reserved. So I was just wanting to get some clarification on that situation, because if my numbers are right, we've got almost 4 million in overtaxation over the last few years, And that's a lot of money. So if that could just be looked into, that'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Mahdi, can you answer that, or do you want to send us an email back on it? Mahdi will send us an email, Rachel, and I'll share it with you. Thank you very much. Anyone else on Zoom?
It has to be between the treasurer and the assessor too.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have reports from city officials. Building and Engineering Director Watland.
We got fund transfers.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Fund transfers and current claims. Councilman Saab.
Move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims and ACH and wire transfers 6-1 through 6-43 as submitted.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair?
Yep, Councilwoman?
I ask that we refer invoice number 11 to number 15 back to administration. 12 through 15 is for Dukes, and once again, they did not put the address on their bills like we've requested in the past, so we know where they're actually doing the cammering and the sewer cleaning. So I'm asking that we refer them back.
Okay. And I see Director Dancy is on. Director Dancy, please get those up. I know this is Councilwoman's second attempt on asking you guys to get it. I know you've probably just been busy or whatever the case may be.
It might be the company too not doing it properly.
Yeah.
No, I sent I'm pretty sure I sent those with you. The larger ones, 12 through 15, were all emergency flood related
Right.
for cleanings.
Uh-huh.
I thought I sent you this 4411 is the one that is.
Right, and then I'll address that one right now.
No addresses. Which is fine. I was just letting you know. I can find a way to get them more, but I thought I sent all of them. If
It's
you guys
okay.
really want me to submit a large packet for each invoice, I can.
That's fine.
It takes a decent amount of time to transfer the sewer structure numbers, map them on GIS, put them next to different addresses. It's just not really convenient, you know? But
And
it's fine. I would suggest that we pay the emergency response invoices 12 through 15, but that's really up to the council.
also, number 11, I'd like to address. Just for an example, last Saturday, we had a resident, and I'm sure everybody on here got the text, that had a tree blocking their driveway.
Yep.
And for some reason, well, we didn't have it in the budget. We couldn't afford it. We were only approving overtime for major roads if a tree was across, which is fine. But it shows we don't have a lot of money. And I did some research on that, and a 4-hour call, I'm sorry, it would take 4 people, a 4-hour call to clear that tree, and it would have cost $600. Now, if we look at number 11, we have a resident who made a false claim that their drain was backing up in their home, and they called in an emergency saying it was clogged. They insisted we send someone out. It ended up being a false claim. I have a copy of the video. The sewer was neither damaged or clogged, and I feel that since the resident lied, the actual cost would have been $411.08, but there's a $4,000 emergency fee on there because they insisted it was an emergency to go out and camera that drain. And that's $4,411.08 is money we can't afford, especially since it's a false claim. If it was true, I say we can pay it in a hot second, but we got to set some kind of standard so in the future residents won't, allow residents to weaponize the city to harass others in the city, and
If I may. Well, I don't think anybody intentionally is just gonna call and say, hey, the sewer's ruined, come check it out, for any sake. I mean, if somebody's gonna do that, they should not be. The truth is, you don't know unless you actually go in there and snake it to see if you actually have some type of damage to a sewer. But as far as that tree goes, I mean, comparing what happened with the tree and what's going on with the sewer, those are two different type of things. Like, I get what you're saying, that, well, there's $4,000 we're spending money on, and if this is, the reason that we're not taking care of the Dukes is because of a back and forth, it's not fair to Dukes. And I really hope that that's not why we're saying today we're not gonna pay Duke. So if-
For which one? Well, the other ones I say we pay as long as we get an address. But on this one particular one, it's money we can't afford.
I just don't want to make, I don't want to make personal issues with us not paying people that have done work for the city.
I'm not saying not pay them. I'm saying refer it back to the resident to pay because they lied.
No, but you don't know that they lied. I think it's more of a
We do.
personal issue.
We do.
Council
And nobody
Chair.
checked the house to see if what they were saying was true.
Yeah, but,
You know,
Councilman?
Yeah, I think what happened was that nobody lied. There was an issue whether or not the mounting of a fence post cracked the crock pipe, and so the sewer was checked. It's part of an ordinance violation in a case that's in court. Nobody lied. Nobody said their sewer was clogged when it's not. There's an ordinance violation. And I don't think it's proper for, and the city's full of neighbor disputes. I've been on this council for off and on for 20 years. I remember early on, Dan Paleko assigned me to settle some dispute that involved his mother's house and the neighbor. And we got it resolved. But this was not done because of a false claim. It was done because they were to check to see if the mounting of the fence cracked the sewer pipe. So, if this were involving a dispute between myself and my neighbor, I would recuse myself from voting on it.
Guys, please, nothing from the audience, please. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree on this one. I mean, guys, us not paying Dukes because we have litigation between, fencing and non-fencing. I don't think Dukes needs to get caught up in the middle of this, right?
okay, Council Chair, I don't think the residents should have to pay for this. And we've got, Director Dancy's got his hand up. Let him explain what happened like he explained it to me.
You said you don't think the resident needs to pay for it?
We shouldn't be. We're paying for it.
No, you just said you don't think the resident should pay for it?
Us as residents should have to pay, you and I.
Oh, okay. Director Dancy, yeah.
Just a couple things. One, I agree with the council should I can go through and get backup for all of these, but it's not fair to the contractor that does all this work to go out and do it. With respect to number 11, it should be paid by the city. It was still a judgment made by the department, me, to look into a sewer claim. I mean, that's a service to all residents. You don't know if it's a city problem
Fair enough.
or personal issue. I mean, it's not.
No,
It's something we can discuss in the future to get reimbursement back, but it's still a responsibility that the city has to respond to sewer backup calls. So like all of 11 through 15, 12 through 15 are strictly flood related. We need to go out and clean sanitary combined sewer situations. All the sewer structures and the piping that they do is documented. I just don't include like the hundreds of pages of sewer structures. Spend the time to try to put them to specific addresses because it's not convenient, it's not easy, it's not an effective use of time. The Dukes with even invoice 11, I recommend, even if the council votes 6-1, I fully understand your point of view, Denise, but this is a company that we need to have
100%.
in good standing.
Oh, absolutely.
In the city to have them
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you said there's recourse to go and get reimbursed later from that individual?
Yes, there's still.
Okay, we'll do that
So a lot of
then.
these situations are situations.
Yeah, I think
we
that's
can
probably the
address
best
it
way.
further. We can address it further.
So are you okay with leaving them on, Councilwoman?
Yes, but
Whether or not I've made it.
I have no
all the way to
problem
you guys.
paying 11 at this point, but 12 through 15, we've told them it's a proper way of billing. We've told them over and over again, we need an address. This standard was set years ago when I was originally on council and we were doing sewer cleanings through other companies, and we were rejecting stuff because the address, we wanted an address.
Yeah, well,
It's only part of the bill.
And I agree with her on that. You should have addresses, but he's saying these are time of emergency for flooding. And I mean, look, Dearborn Heights is known to be flooding. The last thing we want to do is ruin our relationship with Duke's root control. And
right,
please,
but we had
said in the packet they send for invoices, they have addresses, but they correlate to the sewer structures at the road, which aren't always indicative of an exact address. So you can go through and you can spend the time. I mean, I guess I could request that they try and do that as well. But more than
Well-
often than not, I just need them to respond to specific jobs. That's
Can
what
I,
the department's-
can I make a suggestion that they just put down the crossroads at least so we know approximately
Yeah,
what
that's
area?
fine. I can even send those, but I do suggest we continue paying the
All right,
contract.
why don't just pay them tonight, and then in the future, if we don't have crossroads or address, then we're going to send it back?
Yeah.
Thank
Is
you.
that fair enough?
Yeah.
I'll find all those.
Thank you, Director. We're spending
Okay.
too much time on this right now. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to be able to leave 11 through 15.
Council
Any
Chair.
other discussion? Yes,
I'd
Councilman.
like to refer back 22, 25, and 37. We requested more information about these a while back, and nothing was ever submitted to us.
We're moving 22, 25, 37. This is for,
Tuition reimbursement.
okay. Any other discussion?
Council Chair, what kind of information you looking for, Councilman?
Want to see what their contracts and length of employment. Some of these employees have not been in the city for less than a year, and we've got $10,000, $12,000 bills so far.
No, I understand. I mean, something has to happen here. Instead of keep approving people to go and we don't even have the money. I mean, somebody
Well, we're
has to
not-
take a step and tell them, we cannot reimburse you, we have to change the contract or do something about it. This is really embarrassing every time. I mean, it's not fair to them, it's not fair to us. Something has to be done. So please, I don't know, can we direct somebody to, Mariana, I don't know, is there something we can be done by the administration? Tell them the city does not have the money. I mean, we can't hide it anymore. I don't think we can pay anybody to go to school. So we need to be fair, we need to be realistic. I mean,
Good afternoon. With regards to the contracts, they were shared with the council. They date back 20 years. For some employees, this actually goes into the union, so you would have to go into negotiations with a lot of the unions to take that away because it's part of their contracts. So we
I'm
can
not taking
certainly.
it away. We requested information, when was it, the last council meeting, and the administration or HR hasn't sent anything back.
I have shared it with all of council twice, the week prior to last council meetings and last council meeting again when you requested it as well. I gave you back the past 20 years of contracts for that.
All we need is the current contract for
Yes,
the three names here.
that's why we requested.
So two of them apply to the same one that I have already shared, and the other one is with the police department, which you also have. But again, if you need it, the clerk has access to all of our contracts, so she can provide them to you. It's Article 57 of the police contract for one of the employees there.
Councilmembers, I mean, if you don't, I'm sorry, Councilwoman, I mean, even if we get those contracts, I mean, like you said, we don't have the money. We need to do something about it.
So for the non-union employees, it's easier because, again, moving forward, you can change the fringe benefits. I don't know how that would apply for employees that are currently hired, and if you can change the benefits of what they were hired under. So again, that's HR law. They would have to look into
I
all
also
of
want to
that.
keep in mind, we've never seen this contract and said, oh, wow, okay, this is what it's included. For example, the CED. I've never seen any director person's contract, not yours.
I've
not the police
shared
chief.
it with all of you twice.
No.
It's the fringe benefits for elected officials.
No,
and
can you give us
and-
per person, not send us the fringe benefits, what's stated in the charter. They have a contract that you.
There is no
like,
contracts
for
for
example, police
employees.
chief is
Yes,
here.
there is.
Yes, there is. The police chief just got a.
There are very
Hang on
few.
real quick, please.
Sorry, there are very few, and it was for the two directors and the police chief. Other than that, I'm not aware of any contracts
There was
for
also one for
directors.
comptroller that was also given.
Okay.
There was also
Sure,
one.
we
there
can
was
talk
also
to the
recently just
to
given-
the HR director, but as far as I'm aware, there's very rare contracts. They all follow the fringe benefits. But if you want to check with HR if there are any others, we can. So again, the fringe benefits can be changed easily, same as with any new directors that are coming in. I just don't know how it works when you're already employed under those benefits, what the terms are to change that.
Thank you.
Council Chair?
But again, regardless, they were hired and they already took the classes and paid for them under the assumption that we would pay them back. So removing them now is a violation of their contract, so I would recommend paying them. And if you want, starting as of today, we can send the communication to the lawyer to start investigating this.
Thank you.
Council Chair, I was
Councilwoman
next.
Bryant,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Councilwoman Bryant, and then I'll go to you, Councilwoman.
Well, I'd like to make a recommendation that when we do pay this money, whether it's in the contract or not, that there be a time specified that they have to stay employed with the city.
Yeah, 100%.
Or they have to reimburse
I
us.
think that is in the contract.
Yes.
I think if they leave with.
Councilman, hang on, are you all set here,
Yes,
Councilwoman Bryant?
that's
Thank you. Go
enough.
ahead.
I hope I remember. Yeah, I think that paying for tuition is kind of a thing of the past. Most companies used to do it, but now it's not cost effective anymore, especially the way people hop jobs. They're not long-term employees. once they get their degree, they move on somewhere better at our expense. I think that we should immediately remove the tuition aid from any non-union employees, and then the union contracts, they do have to be negotiated. We can't do anything with that.
Thank you. All right. So, Councilman, you want to remove 22, 25, 37?
Correct.
Any other discussion? Thank you. Hearing none, all in favor to remove 22, I'm sorry. Councilman Saab, would you like to amend your motion?
Yes, I amend my
Councilman Ahmad?
motion to remove 22, 25, and 37.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman to amend, supported by Councilman Ahmad. Hearing any other discussion?
Council Chair, so, I mean, where's the money coming from if we pay those? Is it from fund balance or? Anybody knows?
They're supposed to show us in and out.
It's 8 o'clock. They haven't done fund
Fund
balance.
balance.
All in favor, please state aye.
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 All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have Building and Engineering Director Watland, rezoning of 33-008-99-0009-000 Ann Arbor Trail from R1 to RM.
Council Chair,
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'll make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the rezoning of the Ann Arbor Trail lot, parcel number 33-008-99-009-00 from R1 to RM as outlined in 9A.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer. Can I get a second?
Support.
Motion supported by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I mean, this one, I mean, we just got this last Thursday. I know city was off yesterday. I did go through it. It seems like a hot subject. I do recommend maybe table and take it to a study session. We learn more about it, Chair. Especially you guys were divided, I mean, 4-4 and commission. And I'd like to hear from everybody.
Hang on, sir, 1 second.
And it's going to take forever today. I mean, if you're willing to stay another hour here just on this.
I got all night.
Okay. Okay.
May I answer you?
Sure. I mean, I'm just suggesting something,
All right.
just to be fair to everybody.
I just want
That's if the council members will
set the
agree.
record straight, though. First, we weren't divided 4-4. We were missing
First of
one.
all, I got to pause you real quick.
Yeah.
This is a discussion amongst this council body. I will ask you to get up because I know you're on the president of the planning commission, so I will give you a minute to speak, but you should have spoken during the public comments. But let's hear, I'm going to hear from
I'm
the
speaking on a letter that I signed and sent to you. This is my letter to you.
I
So that's
understand.
why I'm here.
I know.
Okay, I just want to answer his question that.
That's not, it wasn't a
Hang
question.
on, hang
It wasn't a
on,
question.
hang on. It's a discussion, Mr. Fadlallah. So if you want to sit right there, I'll call you in 1 minute. Let's hear from the council members first, and then I'll call you up,
That's
okay?
fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Any discussion on council members?
Council Chair.
None?
Council Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
I agree
Constant.
with Councilman Ahmad. There's some issues here. It's, and I'd like to hear more about it at a study session.
Thank you. Anyone else before I call up Mr. Fadlallah? Fadlallah, I am going to give you a minute to go out and speak on this on behalf of the planning commission.
Only get 1 minute? Everybody gets 2-3 minutes?
He's like a director. He's with the planning
Excuse me?
commission. He's the one that submitted this, right? So
No.
he should be treated like a department head.
He's not the department head, man. But I'll go ahead and give you a minute. Please just go ahead.
All right. Well, this is in regard to the letter that I sent to you with respect to the 9 items that complies with the master plan here. Mr. Ahmad, first of all, there's 9 members of our committee, and 1 was absent, and has been absent for 5 months, and I've been asking for a new member. So there was 8 members present, and we voted 4. So it was a tie, both for denial or approval. So we didn't have a recommendation for you to approve this or a recommendation to deny this. So therefore, if we had the chance to have the extra member on board, we might have had 5-4. But I'm in full support of this because this is my cup of tea. You know what I do. So the intended use of the parcel.
Point of order, nothing from the audience, please. I'm not saying to you. I'm pausing your time. Go ahead.
You know, I'm doing this on my own time, so I'm not getting paid for this. And I'm not running for public office, as you all know. So I'm just doing this as a favor, public service. That's all I do. So the intended use of the parcel to RM complies with all 9 items in the rezoning ordinance section 36-523. So it complies with the ordinance. it is consistent with the master plan, with the future use of the land. So we hear all these people come up here and complain, we don't have enough police officers, we don't have enough city services, we need this. Okay, so let us provide this, let us provide alternative tax revenue. Rather than raising your taxes on your property, let's get it from the commercial side, it spills over to the residential, eventually it would lower your millage rate, and that's how it works. And we can use these funds to hire more police officers, to do better in the city. People don't want that. Okay, I had a meeting with the assessor's office. We went over this. I have nothing to gain from this, or I don't even know these people. I just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Guys, point of order. Point of order.
The assessor's office came up with the first year taxes on this property will hit $100,000. Just the first year taxes that's before the property is completed construction. So I urge you to vote yes on this, to rezone this. So let's move forward. If you guys want to do the public good, do them justice, let's start doing these projects. Let's bring money to the city. Let's bring new residents to the city. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fadlallah. And I can tell you, I don't have an answer on this. What I can tell you is you make sense to a degree on, guys, you need to realize to catch tax base here, you need to figure out how you're going to bring it on. I don't know if it's condos. I don't know if you're going to go build a new plaza. Or regardless of whatever it is, I believe I just had this conversation with the resident. Like, we need revenue sources because our city is not there. But however, we have a recommendation of a tie from the Planning Commission. Now, regardless of one has been out absent for 8 months, that's on the administration. It's not on the city council here. It's on the city council. That's on the administration for saying, I appointed somebody, he hasn't showed up, whoever he or she is. I have no idea who that person is. And you know what? It's time that we go out for someone else. But the truth is this is a lot of information. The council is being brought to something where the city was closed Monday, Friday. It's given to us Thursday at 5 o'clock. We have nobody to speak to, right? And the truth is, we need to get more information on this. I understand that. This was not given to us, sir, until Friday. Thursday at 5 o'clock is when we got it. You know what time City Hall closes? 5 o'clock. That's when it was sent over to them. Maybe 4:30, but by the time the council members were able to review their packets and see what was on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday was a holiday, Tuesday we're here. And the truth is, either way, this needs to go to some type of a study session because it's not fair to the council or the residents.
Or the people.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch anything on the planning commission. I've probably been to 1 or 2 planning commissions, just so I can come in and review and see what's happening. I definitely will be at the June 12th about short-term rentals coming up, but the reality is, this is something that's not fair to you guys or the residents. I think we need to figure out a solution, come together, let this body hear what's really happening, and a vote will happen at the next meeting.
I'm the resident, by the way.
Yeah, I know that.
These people are the developers. I met them on the planning commission when they came in spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these people, and I don't know the other people.
Council Chair.
Mr. Chair, it's not we like we're with or against.
By the way, this isn't a pick and choose, right? The council's not picking and choosing anything right now.
We're trying not to.
Yeah. I know, Mr. Fadlallah, we don't have that information. We don't. You gave that, it went into board, you signed it, wasn't given to us. So we're gonna call for a study session, we'll have a conversation, we're gonna have a civil conversation, we'll go from there. It's not the end of the world, we're not picking and choosing sides. And the right thing here to do is, it's not fair to this body to make a vote, and that's my opinion. If they wanna make a vote on it, we can make a vote on it today.
Council Chair.
You guys.
Councilwoman, are you there?
He was asking.
Yeah.
Which
Council
numbers?
So I said, we can either make a vote or we can take this to a study session. Yes.
Council Chair, our charter states that a tie is it's a fail. It's a fail motion. You
Yeah.
can't bring something to council if it's a tie, unfortunately. That's written in the charter.
It's not passed.
It's a tie does not pass. When
Guys,
we
point of
have
order.
a tie here on council.
Refer to the council chair, please.
So, when we pass a resolution or a motion here on council, if it's a tie, it's dead on arrival.
This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. Council, do you mind just taking the table and take it to a study
Well,
session?
I mean, I want to hear from the rest of the
Are
council.
you guys okay taking it to a study session?
Yeah, because there's too many variables here.
Okay, it's been 10, 15 minutes on it. Let's take it to a study session.
Okay.
Council Chair, who did the motion?
This motion.
Councilwoman, would you like to table it to a study
I'm
session?
willing to do that.
Okay. Councilwoman, would you like to support that?
Yeah, okay.
Any other discussion on this? So we're going to table this, we're going to amend our motion to take it to a study session. George, let's get the next Tuesday on the study session, let's not sleep on this one.
Tuesday.
And let's send out a notice. All in favor to refer this back to a study session, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries.
Council Chair, I'm sorry. Can we just make sure the engineer is there, building department, whoever is involved?
Correct. If there's
Maybe
anybody,
Mr. Fadlallah,
if
if
there's
like that, then.
any testing and no, I would love to have your recommendation. Any other discussion? Okay, we're moving on here. Next up, we have 9B, City Engineer Deep New Fire Station Site Selection.
Council Chair?
Councilwoman Breyer.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve proposed site number 2 and authorize initiation of the design phase as outlined in 9B.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer. Can I get a second? You need second?
Second.
Motion made, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell.
Okay.
Any discussion? Okay, I'll open it up. I haven't changed since last time. If we want to build a fire station, build it on the front side of Warren. Sorry, Chief. I am not for building on the golf course. I will tell you, I just was at the golf course on Monday and it was immaculate. And all I can think about is building it on the golf course. It's going to lead to a slippery slope. We're going to be building other things on the golf course. And then the golf course that looks immaculate right now that we just spent all this money on is going to start flooding and it's going to become... There's not been one water engineer that has come out here and told me that they've done any type of studying that says, guys, in point of order, we don't need all the claps here. I mean, this is my thought on it. I know Mr. Deeby, you're a great engineer. I know Wade Trim's a great engineer. How many water engineers are reported? That's even third party that came out and did its testing and studies. We can do soil testing as much as we want. They did soil testings on Beach Daily in front of a school and we're still sinking. The truth is, it wasn't a bad design. It was built on poor foundation, a foundation that shouldn't have been built, and it was still tested. It was tested by Wade Trim. And Wade Trim is coming back to us and telling us, build it on this floodplain. You know, I can tell you I had this conversation with Wayne County. When Wayne County wanted to build homes and sell the golf course, it was going to cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars to be able to allow homes to be able to be built there so that we would be able to do that. So if we're going to spend millions of dollars to prevent a fire station from flooding, then we shouldn't be spending those, we shouldn't be building it on the fire station. On the golf course. I am 100% in full support of building it on Warren. Okay. That's, at least for me. I mean, the rest of the council here can make its decision, but that's where I stand. So.
Are you talking about site 1?
Site, yep, site 1.
Different site.
Site 1.
I'm all for building it on the corner of Warren and Beach Daily on site 1.
Warren and Beach Daily.
That's front of the golf course.
Front of the golf course, right, side by side.
West of Beach Daily.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so one item at a time. The geotechnical investigation, the site investigation was not done by Wade Trim. So the company that did that was a geotechnical company called G2, and they've done the testing. So 2, it's not a floodplain, and 3, this particular site that we're recommending, north side of Beach Daily, just south of Ann Arbor Trail, on the west side, has never, ever flooded in the 100-year history of the golf course. It is not a floodplain. It was never a floodplain. And all the rains that we had, the 200-year storm, it never flooded. So other comments that came out today that we didn't do our homework regarding the infrastructure, it's not true. It was coordinated with Wayne County. We know exactly what the proposed load of the fire station is and where it's going to be. There is no impact on the, we're fully aware of the master's sanitary lines that go west to east and they cross into the county interceptor, which is on the east side. That's south of the plain, and we're not even allowed to tap into it. So there are sanitary lines, and they go east and west. They go from the golf course on the south end across to Heinz Drive. So the county is aware of what we're doing. The loads are allowed. We have plenty of utilities, storm, sanitary, water, and electric on the proposed site. Now, the fact that it is impact on the golf operation, we discussed that with the golf operator, and that particular site, the strip of land just south of Ann Arbor Trail on the west side of Beach Daily, has little to no impact on his operation.
Can I just say one thing to you?
Sure.
I just want to say one thing to you.
Sure.
Again, I'm going to go back to my memory, right? Because
Yes.
I remember these
You have good
conversations.
memory. Yes.
And when we spoke with the golf course and why we developed one side, including you. These are your words verbatim. We're working on one side of the course because it doesn't flood as much as the other side of the course. So if that side has never ever flooded, why don't we just upgrade that side of the course and not do the other side that floods?
Okay, the issue is how much does your business, so I talked to the operator. He said basically when you did have the course, it was for consideration of maintenance cost. For him to support, there's not enough business to support 30, that's the reality.
No, that's not what I'm talking. That's not what I'm talking to you about.
It does not flood.
When we
If
first
you find
took
any
over the golf
evidence of
course,
flooding on that site, I would be very happy to see. It has never, ever flooded for the 100-year history of that. As a matter of fact, the maintenance site, which is 2 foot lower than that elevation, has never flooded either. We have a maintenance complex on that site, and it never flooded. So the flooding concern is not a concern in that location at all. There are no, now can we guarantee that for 100 years to go? No one can, but historically it never flooded. And historically, and then to keep in mind, we didn't investigate other sites because we recently had the money to do the investigation. We never had a budget to go out and start doing geotechnical investigations on other sites. We recently received that grant, and 100% grant, and that's what I'm using to do the investigation. I have no other source of fund. So again, I'm not partial to any sites, but based on everything, and we looked at the, other sites that you recommended last time, and they're not available.
Canfield's not available? It's ours.
What? Which
Canfield
one?
is ours.
Which one?
Canfield.
Oh, no, but you asked us to look at the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
They absolutely said, hell no. I mean, they put it nicely. We're looking to expand, not to sell. So it's not an option. I would love to put it there, actually. It's an easier site. But again, we're looking at parcels that we do already own and we have control over.
So, Mr. Deeb, I have a few questions.
Shoot.
So the sewage lines, where would they lead to the cities or the counties and the water?
The height, so you're talking about which one, storm or sanitary now?
Both.
Both. So the sanitary is because of this Beach Daily, it is Wayne County, but the main sanitary transmission line, which is the one that runs from the golf course east to west, that one we're not tapping. That's the main, that's the
one that was just replaced, right?
Yeah, well, part of it, because we found that Red Run drain that was unknown before, and it was part, so that was, yes. We just amended that. Wayne County did. So the Wayne County Rouge Valley sewer disposal, that's the update. But that is a main transmission. That's not something that you tap for a small building. But we do have sanitary. Obviously, we have sanitary and storm in that location because we have development across the street. I even checked with DTE. We have service. Traffic-wise, you can do a decel if you have to, and we can do an emergency light in that location to allow for vehicles to cross during emergencies. We looked at every possible scenario. I mean, and again, we tried to find other options. I even offered an options on Ford and Evergreen to an area that we owned, but it doesn't meet the response time for the north side of the city of Dearborn Heights. So we're trying to find a location. I'm not, partial to this, but.
So my question to you is that building this building on Beach Daily, the lines would not be used to the residential lines that we use?
No, because they're on the east side. The west side, we have few, but we have enough capacity. We looked at the capacity. It is tappable. We're looking at a demand load that's not really huge. I mean, it's a fire station, right? So we compared what we have today versus what the demand load will be for all utilities, in previous for the storm, sanitary load, electrical. It's not perfect, but it does exist. We have it.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Council Chair?
Yep.
I know Site 1
we got an email, I believe, from Ali Deeb, and it said there was some issues with Site 1 as far as setback and some county-owned I'd like to see exact map that shows that, because that site, I know there was an issue about fire engines being able to turn around. That site is like 1 football field wide by 2 football fields long.
Yeah.
It's a big site.
It's about 3 football fields long.
Yeah, and so, I mean, maybe we can work something out, because like you, I was at several events this past weekend, veterans events, and I got approached by many veterans and seniors that thanked me and you and the rest of us for holding up to our word about not developing on the golf course. But I'd like to see something like that, Mr. Deeb. Maybe a little map is showing what the setbacks are.
So in general, every road has a road right of way. You can't build a building all the way to the road, to the pavement.
right.
It doesn't work that way. So what I was trying to tell you, Warren is a Wayne County road. It doesn't belong to us. The road right of way is the setback that you have to stay away from the road. That's standard. That's everywhere. So the road right away in that location. So when I did the repairs on that driveway to the golf course just recently, I had to pull a permit from Wayne County and get inspected. So that's their road right away. You know, you don't put buildings in the right of way. You have to set it back. And if I do that, then my road, my lot, the remaining land is narrow and deep. Absolutely, it's very deep, but it's narrow. And you know, my direction is to build what we have today, 4 bays. My chief over here wants 5 bay, which means I have to have, you know, large bay frontage. I don't have that frontage. I don't, you know, if I put 4 or 5, I'm having circulation issue, because these trucks are not small. It's not a Chevette. It's not a Chevy. It's a big fire engine, right? So they need to circle back and return. I don't have that land. I'm not against that site. It's just that not enough.
Couldn't we have the base face east and west?
But the entrance, so the drive and the circulation, so you have to turn. These, you know, the engine, it's circulation.
I know they get around tight spots. They go around, as a planning commissioner for a long time, new commercial properties have to be built where fire engines can go through, like the drive-through and stuff. So I know they can get around tight spots.
They do. So I had to move that mosque on Beach Daily because the circulation issue in the back of it. If I can't get a fire engine during an emergency, if I can't get it back, it's a safety concern. We have to stop and move it back so I can allow, you know, proper radius, safe operation. I can't have, you know, a crash on an emergency vehicle. So, I mean, there are guidelines. Again, any other sites, we're trying to look for any alternative that will make it work, and we don't have to spend our limited resources.
That's why, excuse me, that's why, you know, I'm in favor of Site 1, because it's almost the exact same spot as these two are. And I guess that corner, Warren and Beach is ideal spot. You know, we could maybe build it in the parking lot of the school. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, I mean, I know that location. I don't want to go to the Goodwill place or any place else like that. You know, that area, that spot, that's where I think we should be.
Yep, I'll just say that you're correct. Beach and Warren is what we want. And so it's from a response time point of view, that's the #1 place. And then my other big concern is being out of the school. Like where we're at right now it's not safe. We just spent an hour at the beginning of this talking about the safety of the schools and setting up all of the crosswalks. And I bet you they would not recommend putting a fire station in the middle of any one of those places. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And we need to get out of that location. And that would be my only concern with that Warren location. And so Beach and Warren is a general vicinity and out of a school zone. That's what the fire department would like.
I'm going to listen to Councilwoman Menalowski-Max on that.
Okay, well, that's one more thing I wanted to add first. You know, I've been talking with Representative Aaron Burns, and the funding, the money that's funded, we're trying to pin it down to exactly when, but the bond is from October 2023 to September 30th of 2026. And we're trying to find out exactly how that money, when it has to be spent, or at the September 2026, can we just that day sign a contract with someone So we're trying to nail that down.
So when you talk to the representative, please keep in mind there are two different funding, three actually. One is the Rashida Tlaib 500, that is design only, which became available to us in September. So that's design. But I can't go to construction until I actually have a shovel ready, right? So the initial estimate, when we did the investigation on the fire station in 21, I believe, the estimate to reconstruct exactly what we have today was 10 million in 21. Currently, it's 13. So when I met with Erin Burns, I told her, yes, the original estimate was 10 million, but today's construction cost is a lot more than.
That's true.
2021. So she put a second request for us for three more million on top of the 10. So, but 10 and 3 is for construction. I'm still stuck on the design. I don't have a design. I have Rashida Tlaib's money that I like to spend on the design so I can have a shovel ready.
We've got the original 10 million, there's 600,000 for engineering out of that.
That's field. That's the investigation.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so we don't have a sinking building.
And
Yes.
the big hot topic now about fire stations in this part of Michigan is the net zero fire station that's being built in Ann Arbor, where it's got solar power, geothermal, all these things. I mean, I know that increases the cost, maybe. I don't know if it does or not, but.
So I just met with Ann Arbor 2 weeks ago in U of M Dearborn, and we're nowhere near Ann Arbor in our standards, but they do have A20 by 2030 as 0%. That's their biggest thing. Zero carbon by 2030. I don't have anywhere near that. But, so they set the standards so high. I'll be happy if I can implement some of the green today, but to set that kind of a standard, green roofs, zero carbon release. My 13 million estimate construction doesn't include it, but we will try to implement as much as possible. I'm looking at the finger drains and then the green, like you have at Ray Center.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
If I may, Councilman.
Yes, sir.
If we had the same exact fire station you had today, does that work for you, Chief?
So when that was built, we were getting 4,000 runs a year, and now we're about 9,000. And we had one squad and one engine was the only vehicles that were manned and respond. And now we have 2 squads, an engine, a battalion chief, and then a ladder truck that will go out on certain calls. So
we need 5 because.
Yeah, we need more, and then we need the living area has to be a little bit bigger, and we need the more male locker room split up than what we have now.
2 stories?
However it would fit, I mean, whatever's going to be the most beneficial.
So regardless of the cost, what we wanted to do is if we have the site selected, we wanted to do the design at least so we're not spending current money in circles, and by the time we're done, we won't have any money left. I wanted to have all these criteria defined, and then once we have a site selected, then we can give the designer. We have the designer already identified. Everything is ready to go once we have a site, right?
Yeah.
Any other, sorry, Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, and then Councilwoman Breyer.
Okay.
What's wrong, Councilwoman?
I had just recently found out, remember the old Discount Tire House on the corner of Warren and Beach? It's now vacant. Would that be a possible site?
I heard about that site. I also heard, they haven't put any permits. I heard rumors of what's going on in there. It's private. I believe we know the owner. I haven't contacted him. Is it a possible site? But they're right across from the school.
I mean, I don't know how large the site is. I don't know, we'd have to see if it would fit.
It removes you from the actual school section and puts you across the street in the intersection that you really want, but away from the school, away from the golf course, away from the homes.
Yeah, I know where it's at. I just don't know how, if it's big enough. I mean,
I just found this out tonight, so I haven't had a chance to really go by and really look at it.
I heard about that site, but supposedly they were buying the parcel just east of it. So if that parcel, there's 2 parcels. You have the tire store and you have a parcel adjacent.
Right, with the garage.
I just need to talk to a real estate person, find out. I haven't contacted anyone, but
Mr. Deeb?
Now you blew it, now they're
Yes,
gonna want
sir.
twice as
I'm
much.
looking at the lot sizes between our current fire station and and Lot A on Warren. I know it's a setback, but the setback, if you look at the first house, it's not that much of a setback.
It's not the house, I'm looking at the roadway setback in.
Right.
And then you've got the drainage ditches as part of the parking lot. So I need to clear that. I can't put a building on top of that. So I need to set back from the parking so I don't flood the parking lot, and then from the houses. So 20 foot from the house, 20 foot from the parking lot, I will have,
Because there's an alley in the back, too.
yeah.
That
And
gives you a little
I need,
extra space
so they're
if we
set back
vacate
from
that alley.
the houses and then set back from the parking. And then keep in mind, future expansion for the parking. I have no place else to expand except for that lot, which is why we didn't want to put, we might be in a situation, sir, if that place is, I expect it to be very popular, the development. If that happens, we have no other parking expansion capability anywhere except for that grassy area, so.
All right, guys, well, we got Councilwoman, are you all set here, Councilwoman? Councilwoman Breyer.
Okay, well, first of all, we don't own that new property. Secondly, Tom's mistaken. At our meeting, Aaron Burns told us that we have until 2026. She didn't mean the end of the year. $10 million is at stake to be lost on December 31st of this year.
No, she
That's-
didn't say that. I was there.
Yes, she did.
She said she wasn't sure she'd get back with us.
She said she thought it was the end of.
We don't have that much time. Plus, we don't own any new property. We don't have time to rebore and check unknown possibilities. And the other problem with Site 1 is there's a burn area there. There's also a drain area there. And as Ollie tried to explain to you, if we have to advance parking, it has to go there because we're trying to help out Crestwood School District, giving them part of the parking area. And we have 3 businesses there. And to have a liquor license, you have to have a certain amount of parking. So Site 2 is the best area available to us right now. That's it.
There's nothing from the audience. Any other discussion on council? Well, we have a motion on the table to choose a site. Does anybody want to choose a site?
May I say something? Mr. Deep, how much is it taking for the golf course? Is it gonna affect the operation or?
No.
No? So what's just, you know, it's
And I've
the
seen a flood.
Was the flood?
And
And you said you did the testing about the flood and all that stuff, and there's no flood?
The soil is perfect and it's never flooded.
Can I show you a picture?
Oh, yeah.
Can I show you a picture, Mr. Deeb? And I want you to tell me what, if it's on here. Where is it on this?
So if you look, it's going to go down.
No, I want to show you something. This, real quick, Mr. Deeb.
He's going to show you the picture he's got. Show you exactly.
It's right here.
Heading north on
Here you go,
Beach Daily,
guys.
is it before you go down?
There's the picture. It's in the package.
Okay, so when you're heading north, is it after you go down or?
Put this down.
Yeah.
This is up here. Maybe on the Andover Trail. Yes, this is the one.
This is beach down here.
Further north.
I know, but we're not. We're looking at this side.
This is beach. This is where the maintenance yard is. Right there. This is the maintenance.
There's a service entrance near there where it starts.
There's a fence.
Is it before the road goes down or is it after?
For the viaduct.
After.
After?
Yeah.
Up in the hill.
Right where the maintenance fence is.
Right.
What's up? It was.
So there's the entrance, maintenance.
Yeah, it's across the street from the tennis courts.
It's very high.
Right.
I passed by there.
And I thought you talked about something too, like a community center or banquet, maybe overlooking the golf course too. Would be nice.
Council Chair?
Yeah, as long as there's not flood issues,
Valley has the banquet center.
I've been researching, I've reached out to everybody I could. I reached out to the former concessionaire Warren Valley and asked him about the flooding. And he said before he was involved with it, Wayne County told him that they thought that might have flooded before, but he's never seen it flood. But he said on several occasions, anytime parts of the golf course flooded, that was so wet you couldn't drive your machinery on it. That area, the area that's, I sent him the copy of this site plan there. So that whole area, you couldn't drive any lawn care equipment on that site when nearby parts were flooding. But he said he's never seen it flood where the water rose, but the water level went so high, he couldn't drive his lawn equipment on it.
Mr. Deeb, do you have anything on that?
It's never flooded. It has never flooded. We have no evidence of, I even talked to the operator. So as long as this golf course has been in existence, 100 years, that site is, and again, this site is actually higher than the maintenance complex, which never flooded either. You know, even with a 100-year storm, our maintenance complex, where we have our maintenance equipment for the golf course, have never flooded. So is the soil, now we will put measures in place with a proper design, but again, I can't spend any of that money until we have a site.
So there's a possibility we approve this site, you go do the design, do more testing, and then won't work?
No. We already did the testing. The geotechnical is done. It's appropriate. We are going to put the proper foundation, so none of that sinking stuff. We'll put the final foundation, the proper foundations in place when the structure is designed. So that's one thing. Now, we are going to put bleeders and things that will prevent any kind of water, drainage. And there obviously no basement, right? I mean, it's a slab on grade, so we're never going to have a basement. The only concern I have is I don't want to give this man a design that may cause future settlement. We'll take care of that during the design. The
Council Chair,
architect is aware of that.
Councilwoman?
are we going to be using any pylons when we build that?
Possible. We haven't gotten to that part, so I do have we've selected an architect and a structural person, partners
Okay,
and architects, and that's all they do is they build fire stations.
Okay.
So we will.
If that's the case, then I am worried. If you've got to use pylons, then we shouldn't be building on that section. Because that's usually done on swamplands or areas that have the potential to flood and possibly sink over time. Pylons aren't a 100-year solution. They're only a temporary one.
Right.
Every house I know, just houses that I know that have used pylons, have cracked the foundation after maybe 10 years.
Yeah. So we're not looking at basement foundations. We're looking at structural. So if you remember, the current problems we have with the existing fire stations are not the foundation. The exterior walls are perfect because they do have footings. We put footings on the exterior walls. It's the interior walls that are settling. Interior walls are slab on grade, which expansion of the backfill material caused the settlement. We're not going to do that again. So.
Because usually you don't use pylons if you have to have a basement.
No, we
If you
will.
can't have a basement and you use pylons, that's a big red flag to me.
Yes, ma'am. We're aware of that.
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion. Is there one on the table?
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
there's a motion on the table to choose a site. The motion was made by Councilwoman Breyer
For site number 2.
for site number 2, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. Okay, we have a motion on the table here. Before anything else, do we have any other discussion? Anybody?
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd still like site 1 because we haven't really looked into it as far. And I think we need to look at before we make a decision, see the restrictions that Mr. Deep said that were on site 1. It's a very large site, room for expansion there. We've got, there's a parking lot there. We could utilize the parking lot for turning around even, I mean, I think it gives us a lot of more options there.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to listen to Councilwoman Breyer. Then Chief Brogan was up, and then I'll let you go next.
All right, Tom, one thing that's wrong with 1 is, sure, you may have some site there that you could use, but you have so much more traffic on Warren than you do on Beach Daily. And we will have to have more parking spaces expanded in that direction. And originally Sue didn't want it next to her neighborhood either.
We've got a fire station right now on Telegraph.
And we're going to go up with that one because of the land usage.
Traffic-wise, though.
Right.
Okay, let her finish it. I don't want to have it back and forth. Are you all saying?
But as I tried to explain, that money is at jeopardy to be lost. That is a choice site. If you read your backup materials, 2 is the better of the 2 sites, 1 and 2. The fire chief, your city engineer, the borings have been done, and we've got to get moving on this now.
Let's move on with site 1.
I'm also going to hear from Chief. What do you have to say on that? What is your recommendation, Chief?
I still think the golf course is the best recommendation. I went and met with Jason, who runs the golf
He's
operations.
on here. He asked to speak, so I'm gonna let him speak next. But
Yeah, I mean, well, then I won't try to recap our conversation because I'm sure he's going to say the same things. Because I had my concerns too. I love that golf course. I've golfed there. I have history there. I don't want to see anything happen to the course either. But when it comes down to public safety, to keep us where we're at now with those kids, it's just a recipe for disaster to have a fire station in a school zone, and that's where we're at right now. And the same thing if we move to Riverside, I don't want to trade one problem for just one school for another. So that's my concerns. Beach and Warren is the best location, and that's how I came to the decision. I mean, obviously, when the county said we can't have that land across the street, this land is actually a little bit higher, and then I was worried
Did
about
we
the golf
test that
course.
land across the street? Does it flood?
Talking about Wayne County land across the street? No, it doesn't, but it's not available. We spent almost a year with Wayne County. They're actually doing something with the sewer, so they're doing some kind of a pump station, so they made it very clear, not available for us.
Okay, is Jason on? If you can unmute him, please. Look, guys, I know we're spending some time on this. This is important. It's a very important subject. It's not something we can just.
If we discuss the zoning thing too.
Hi guys, sorry I'm not on video, I'm on my phone here. I really don't have a preference.
You muted yourself, Jason.
Whoops. How about now?
There you go.
Okay. Again, I really don't have a preference, site 1 or site 2 from a golf course perspective. Site 2 is higher topography-wise than site 1. If site 1 were to flood, or if site 2 were to flood, site 1 is guaranteed to flood, but there's at least a possibility that site 1 or site 2 would avoid flooding. We're talking 20 feet above the riverbank.
Jason, can you say site 1, site 2? Can you just say next to the golf course, on the front of the clubhouse, or on the actual golf course? Because site 1, site 2, you're throwing me off.
The front of the golf course off of Warren is lower ground than site 2, which is up at the corner of Beach Daily and Warren, right? Or I'm sorry, Hanover Trail and Warren, or Beach Daily rather. They're not much higher. We're talking probably 3 to 4 feet difference. But if site 2 were to flood, site 1, including the clubhouse and the entire parking lot, would be guaranteed to flood.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Councilman Constant.
I think we have to listen to the experts. I think we have to listen to the police chief. I think.
Fire chief.
The work has been done.
I can call him if that
I
helps.
go
the
with
police
site
chief.
2.
Site 2, okay. Anyone other council members?
Council Chair, this is an important decision. I just tried to text Representative Burns to ask her because the way she explained it to me, we will not lose that money on December 31st. I talked to her personally. I tried to get her, I heard rumors that an RFP went out already on this. Is that true?
Absolutely not.
Nothing?
Absolutely not. No.
Any kind of bid process went out?
No, what we had done, and as I explained before, when we received the funding for design, let's separate, $500,000 Rashida Tlaib design money. We had to put an RFQ to select a consultant to design, not construction. And we went through and we brought it over. You guys approved it. The designer is Partners and Architects. You approved it in December. We put the money to use and we selected the sites. Those are the sites we're recommending. Design money. Aaron Burns is construction, and that is absolutely not done. You can't build it until you design it, right? So no RFP was put out on the street. We haven't designed it yet.
Yeah, how can you send an RFP if there's no design?
We haven't designed it.
All right, guys, we have a motion on the table for site 2 to make a decision. I don't want to go back and forth on these things. If we want to talk, let's talk about where we feel about our options. Do I have any other discussions about site 2 or site 1? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell,
No.
Hassan Saab,
No.
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes?
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Hassan Ahmad,
Doesn't matter. I was gonna say yes, but yes.
Mo Beidun.
No.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up, 9C, Comptroller's Office Budget Amendment.
Council Chair, before we do that, I think we should plan something, or you can let us know about.
Mr. Deeb?
about getting all this information that we need about Site 1 that we're talking about.
I
It's in the
have
backup
a
material.
council chair. Mr. Deeb, I have one request from you, and I will change my vote to this if you could make it to the next meeting. Could you bring me a water assessment or a water study in that, on that lot? If you have,
Which one?
yeah, about flooding. That's, if you guys can provide that, or even put money towards an engineer to provide that to us, that's it.
For Site 1?
I mean, the FEMA plans are outdated. Anybody can remove a house from a flood zone. That's common. But I mean, I'd rather just to have a conscience about making sure through, a water study, a water company, a water engineer that could do it and provide us that, and my vote would be a yes.
So what kind of testing is that? I thought that's already done.
No, they did soil.
That was soil and boring.
ground.
So what kind of testing is that?
If you could do that and get it the next meeting, that would be, I'll support it.
I will.
Well, I'm gonna go with the expert's opinion.
All right, next up, Comptroller's Office Budget Amendment.
That's one,
9C, guys. Anybody?
Nobody's going to read it?
Okay. Council Chair, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the budget amendments as outlined in 9C.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad. Do I got a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the backup here. It says none of it is used for fund balance except, expected training expenses.
That's what I thought.
What's your question, Councilman?
No, it's just saying that there's, none of this money is being used. It wasn't a question.
So the money for the fund balance is actually a training fund balance, only tied strictly to the police. That account is strictly for revenues received in the fiscal year, but not used, but then the training occurs in the following fiscal year. So if the revenues, let's say we had 50,000 this year, but we didn't use it, that money would go into a restricted fund balance that the general fund can't use, and only the police department can use the training for that fund balance.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. DPW Director Dancy, DPW Garage Door Capital Improvement and Replacement.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the capital improvement and replacement of garage doors at the Department of Public Works by Allied Building Services for a cost of $45,733 plus 10% contingency for a total cost not to exceed $50,306.30. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city, which will expire June 31st, 2025. Furthermore, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment totaling $38,200 from Tifa Capital Improvement Budget and the remaining $12,106.30 from Capital Outlay Account 592-540-981-000 as outlined in 9-D.
Council Chair?
One correction?
Yes.
What's your
There's,
correct?
there's not 31 days in June, there's only 30.
30. That's right, it was just probably a typo.
Okay, I'm at my motion to make it June 30th, 2025.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad,
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries.
Council Chair?
Next up,
Who'd second that?
Councilwoman Breyer.
Thank-
Next up, we have Fire Chief Brogan, purchase and payment of fire department gear lockers.
Council Chair?
Yep,
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve and purchase the payment of 3 gear grid storage units for turnout gear at the total cost of $2,463 to be paid upon receipt. In addition, authorize the mayor and the comptroller and clerk to sign a necessary warrant, the treasurer to issue payment from capital outlay account 101-335-981-500, of which the current balance is $4,570.62 as outlined in 9E.
Second.
motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion? Thank you. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have Parks and Recreation Director Zabaznik,
Very good.
budget amendment. Oh, yeah, I
Council Chair.
spelled it out, by the way.
Council Chair.
Councilman, I was hoping I was gonna hear from Sue, but you're not proud of me? Sue, you, Sue.
Very excellent.
Yeah. Who's? Thank you very much. Nice. I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
She's not here.
I'll just call her Councilwoman Maxwell. Thank you.
Council Chair?
Yep, motion made, well, I need a motion.
Johnson.
Council Chair?
Councilman
We need a second.
I'd like to make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the following amendments to the Parks and Recreation budget as outlined in 9F. Should we read them?
Tom, do a second.
No,
Bob
I
did the
made the
first.
motion.
He
That's
made the
fine.
motion. He
I
read it
seconded
already.
it.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
Saab seconded it.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, we didn't even do the
You
motion.
didn't do the motion, guys.
Oh, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. Did anybody hear it?
He read the first
Oh,
part.
hold on, I'm sorry.
Motion made by
That's
Councilman
lockers.
Wenzel,
It's the 10, son.
seconded by Councilman Constant.
Do we read it?
Any discussion on this?
Council Chair,
Yes,
I think we need to go ahead and table this for the next meeting.
okay.
What's what's the reasoning? What?
Just a recommendation of our corporation council.
Okay.
We just had that meeting.
We're just gonna refer this back to the
He's not here.
Another closed session.
Oh, you're talking about.
Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for the signs on there?
Yeah.
There's signs on there too.
Yeah.
Councilman Watson, do you want to amend your motion to refer this?
I'll amend it to table this,
Thank
give
you.
it to the administration.
Thank you. Councilman Constant, do you second that?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, orders and resolutions. Councilman Baydun's second resolution regarding sending information requisitions form to the Michigan Department of Treasury.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt the resolution regarding sending an information requisition form to Michigan Department of Treasury resolving that A, the City Council of the City of Dearborn Heights adopts this second resolution regarding sending information requisition form to Michigan Department of Treasury. B, the City Council authorizes and directs Special Legal Counsel Gary T. Miyake, 1, to assist the City Council with this matter, 2, to perform all necessary legal services for the City Council to send the information requisition form and any related information and/or documents to the Michigan Department of Treasury Local Audit and Finance Division, and 3, to perform all necessary legal services that are otherwise consistent with this second resolution. C, the City Council also authorizes City Clerk Lynn M. Sinia, 1, to assist the City Council with this matter, and 2, to perform all necessary services for the City Council to send this second resolution, any related information and/or documents to the Michigan Department of Treasury, Local Audit and Financial Division. D, the City Council has previously appropriately retained special legal counsel, but this second information requisition form resolution shall be deemed and treated as a further independent act of retention of special legal counsel by the City Council pursuant to City Charter Section 5.13J in the unlikely event that any previous act of retention may be ruled to be ineffective, as outlined in 11-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? I will speak on this briefly. I don't know how much, is Gary on here? I don't know how much I'm going to speak on this, but, you know, there are some payments that are being made to certain employees, former employees that have left the city a little well over a year ago, and they're still getting their pay. And so I have sat down with our special legal counsel and told them that I want this to go before the Michigan Department of Treasury. You know, I don't want to make any assumptions, but the fact that there are potential hundreds of thousands of dollars that are going towards a person that is retired or left voluntarily from the city is unfair to the taxpayers, unfair to the raises that were supposed to be given to our city employees. It's unfair and so many forefronts. And I know that this is something that sounds alarming, but I think that we have to take the right steps here, and I believe that, one, I have never seen a director or anybody in charge to get some type of payment that if they voluntarily leave, they continue to get paid. And, you know, I don't want to speak too much because of our injunction that's against the council, but it's so disheartening and so disappointing to see that this is the position that we are in currently. It's so upsetting. Thank you.
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
I agree 100%. This has to be done. 100%.
Thank you,
Bottom
Council.
of this.
This is not fair to our residents. And I will tell you that there's a minimum of $61 an hour being paid to a past
Minimum.
employee, and it is $61 an hour.
Minimum, yeah.
You know, since we didn't have a comptroller, since we didn't approve, since the mayor was out and we didn't approve the comptrollers to sign the warrants to do payroll, we actually had our clerk doing it, and she found it. This clerk found it. And she needs to be recognized for her hard work, making sure that she's not going to put her signature on something that she should not be. And so to me, this is very alarming. Look, man, this is our city, and this is not okay. This is, especially while we are choking and bleeding and hemorrhaging on finances. I know that this is happening, and we were never informed. I never saw a contract. I never approved anybody's contract that's supposed to get some type of money like this. But it's very, very alarming.
Council Chair,
Yes.
if this is the case, then we're paying out money and getting nothing in return, and we're turning down paying vendors that have done work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We can't pay overtime for DPW employees, but we're giving away we're giving away close to $130,000 a year.
Yeah.
And if anybody that thinks that this is okay, shame on you as well. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. I really pray that the Michigan Department of Treasury does something on this. I have also went down to the Michigan State Police and filed this as well, because this is really, really alarming. And I'm not going to be as dramatic, because like if somebody on council was doing something like this administration would be all over it dramatically. They'd be contacting the media. They'd be no, we're not. We've made our city look bad enough. Thank you.
Council Chair,
Yes.
is this the second reading, the final reading? No?
For what?
For this resolution?
That's going to go drag. Yeah, that's it. Next up is 11B, resolution for council of the city of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, adopting an operating budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, ending on June 30th, 2026.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt a resolution of Council of the City of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, adopting an operating budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, and said tax levy shall be composed of the constituent rates for the purposes and with estimated yields described as follows based upon an aggregate of taxable assessed value of $1,869,000,000 $832,079 for the city of Dearborn Heights, or as may be subsequently certified and amended net of tax increment capture. Further, consistent with City Charter Section 4.9A, the compensation of each city employee or officer shall be within the limits of and in accordance with the plan set forth in the personnel page of the budget applicable to the employee or officer, such that A, the compensation, salary, or wages of the employee or officer shall not exceed the amount stated for the employee or officer in the personnel page applicable to the employee or officer. B, the compensation, salary, or wages for each employee or officer whose position is exempt for purposes of paying overtime shall only be paid on a proportional basis during the fiscal year. C, the compensation, salary, or wages for each employee or officer whose position is not exempt for purposes of paying overtime shall be paid on a proportional basis during the fiscal year, except as may be necessary to comply with any collective bargaining agreement or overtime law applicable to the employee or officer. And D, no severance payment or benefit shall be paid on any current or former employee of the city because no severance has been authorized in prior budgets or is authorized in this budget as outlined in 11-B.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. And clerk, please take roll call.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Nancy Breyer.
Yes.
Moby Dun.
No.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up is Treasurer Hicks Clayton Administrative Fee Collective Resolution Tax Year 2025.
Council Chair,
Yep, Councilwoman Breyer.
I'll make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council adopt the following resolution, authorize the imposition of a property tax administration fee. Whereas the city of Dearborn Heights is responsible for assessing property values, collecting ad valorem property taxes, collecting property tax levies, and handling review and appeal matters arising therefrom, and whereas MCL 211.44 in parentheses 3-PA 503 of 1982 provides that the local tax collecting unit shall add a property tax administration fee of not more than 1%, and whereas the administration has recommended authorizing the imposition of a property tax administration fee of not more than 1% as a fee to offset the costs incurred in assessing property values, collecting tax levies, and in the review and appeal process. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dearborn Heights City Council approves and adopts the resolution that this shall apply to all property tax levies that shall become due in 2025. This resolution shall continue in full force and effect unless and until revoked or rescinded by resolution of the City of Dearborn Heights, as outlined in 11C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is 11D, Library Director McCaffrey, Library Settlement Resolution.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the settlement of claims related to underpayment by Wayne County Library penal fines from 2015 to 2023 in an amount not less than $163,107 in exchange for a release of all potential claims. In addition, the library director is hereby authorized to execute the settlement agreement and release on such additional terms as may be agreed upon by the library director and approved by legal counsel as outlined in 11-D.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up is business license renewal, Applebee's 8085.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for Applebee's number 8085 at 265824 as outlined in 13A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion? Yes.
This was the one that was referred back to Corporation Council. I just want to give you an update. That was just given to the paralegal.
It was just what?
Given, Corporation Council just assigned it to the paralegal, Mohammed Hashim. So he is working on it. However, there's not an outcome yet.
Okay,
So maybe table it until.
can we
the next
table, refer this back?
Let's refer it back, thank you.
Council
Saab,
Chair,
would you like to amend your motion to
I'd like to
refer back?
amend my motion to refer this back.
Seconded by Councilwoman Breyer.
Yes.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, motion
Thank you.
carries. Next up is business license renewal for Dearborn Heights Moose Lodge.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewal for the Dearborn Heights Moose Lodge at 272251 Warren as outlined 13B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Council
I will
Chair?
say-
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I will say that our Moose Lodge openly supports our police department, allows them to have their meetings there, welcomes them there all the time. And so I just want to really thank them for them always welcoming our police department day in and day out. Anytime the unions request to have a gathering, they don't do it at the Moose Lodge, and they welcome them there. So thank you to the Moose Lodge.
Council Chair,
Yeah.
way back when, even former Mayor Pletko had a Christmas gathering there for his employees.
Yeah. Yeah, they've always been supportive to the city. Councilman?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to visit any of these license renewal sites. I suffered concussion 11 days ago, and I spent the first 5 or 6 days kind of just relaxing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
serious.
Yeah, you're right, your wife did tell me that.
So I'm getting better. I'm not 100%. Still have some headaches and some neck pain, but I wasn't able to. But in the past, the Moose have been always an excellent establishment. Like I said, I haven't been in there lately, so I'm sure they're
Did
keeping.
Mrs. Winslow push you or anything? I can take that thing away from her.
You see a frying pan? Well, actually, I was kicked in the back of the head with a soccer ball at the kids' school recess, which I was a lunch monitor, and the 8th grader wailed a soccer ball right in the back of my head, knocked me out.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better.
Yep, thank you. So I have an excuse from now on.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up is our temporary food truck cart license renewal applications for Tim Hortons.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that Dearborn Heights City Council approve the temporary food truck cart license application for Tim Hortons as outlined in 13C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? I will speak briefly on this. This is a very unique, it's the only Tim Hortons truck in the state, maybe in the country. And it's going to be at the
Summerfest.
Spirit Festival. And I am so amazed, and I want to thank the director for that and allowing this and making this happen. Because anytime I go to these festivals, I'm always drinking all this sugary candy, which I don't mind, I love them. But you get 35, and I'm just nice. I can give myself a nice double, not as much cotton, not as much sugar. So thank you to that, and I look forward to seeing this coffee truck that's going to be serving us. And then thank you for bringing them to the city council and making sure they went through the proper steps to get their renewal and get their license approved. So I hope this does get approved. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Next up is comments from council.
Council Chair, before we move on, I would like to suspend the rules and add a motion to move our public meeting from June 10th to June 11th because of the event that we're having on June 10th.
Well, you gotta make a motion to suspend the rules. A motion made by Councilman Ahmad. Can I get a second? Second
I'll
by
second it.
Councilwoman Breyer. To suspend the rules, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Now I need you to make a motion.
Council Chair.
Add something, hold on. Add a motion under 11B.
No,
I'm sorry, no.
13D.
Can we add it here or?
No, you'd have to enter
for the
11F, right?
We can add it.
Okay.
So 13D. 13D.
No rules.
Council Chair, I would like to move that the Dearborn Heights City Council move our public meeting from June 10th to June 11th, 2025.
All right, motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by?
Second.
By Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Yes, sir.
can you give everyone the reason? I know you mentioned it briefly.
Sure, definitely. I'm a president of a nonprofit, local nonprofit that do work closely with Dearborn Heights, and they're having their yearly dinner, and all the council members are invited, so they're not going to be here. We're not going to have a quorum, so we thought about moving it from Tuesday to Wednesday.
And we're not gonna have our clerk either.
Yeah.
So, it just made sense.
Tell them the name of the group.
LAHT, Leaders Advancing and Helping Communities.
Any other, you're the president?
I'm the president.
Yes.
Nice. You gonna give us a shout out to Dearborn Heights? All right, because we're all coming.
Council Chair,
Yes.
you know, I'm in favor of doing this, and I'm gonna vote yes on it, but we just gotta make sure this doesn't open the door for anytime there's a conflict with a meeting. I had several budget meetings that I wasn't able to attend, and I didn't, ask to change them. I did mention it to you, but they weren't changed. But, I mean, this is a good cause. I think all of us are, I haven't RSVP'd yet, though.
I haven't either.
I've got my daughter's on lacrosse, and they're doing a scheduling, and so, I might not be able to go, but if not on lacrosse, I'll be there.
This council, because a lot of council members, they showed the interest in going, so we're not going to have a quorum. So that's why I figured just to move the meeting.
So Councilman, I just want to make a few corrections. I can tell you, I wasn't coming. He said he wasn't coming because he's the president.
I'm not
He said he wasn't coming, I believe.
I'm going.
Yeah, Councilwoman Breyer, so that was 4. So if a motion is made, I mean, I don't want people to show up to a council meeting. So if anything, we're doing something positive. If one council member can't show up to a budget hearing meeting, it's very hard for me to switch that.
Oh, whatever.
Couldn't go home too, and I let you know my schedule.
Yeah. Councilwoman, to my defense on your schedule as well, you told me you couldn't come to any meeting but Tuesdays. I was not able to accommodate.
All right, let's go on,
Well, I
move
said
on
I
here
could
to
go
this.
during the day, and we've had budget meetings during the day.
Yeah.
To be fair, on Friday, we always did.
Almost every single person said they couldn't do the day. Councilman Wanso said no to the day, Councilman Ahmad said no to the day, he said no to the day, she said no to the day, and so did Councilman. I actually couldn't do the day. I would have preferred that. But I also, me and George had to accommodate for the greater good and for the majority. We can't have a budget hearing with only 1 or 2 people here. So I had to make it to where we're used to doing the same budgets. I mean, the last 4 years, we've been doing it this way. So I didn't change or reinvent the wheel here. We just followed the direction. I think, George, we did the
Just the 4 years
same
before
one,
that,
right?
We didn't do it that way. We always had them on Fridays because department heads were off, and it was easier for them to get away from the job to come. And I did clear it with everybody before. I called everybody to see if the schedule.
Yeah, everybody said no. Everybody said no. He said no to noon. He said, Councilman Wanso said no, he had to do to his DC.
Okay.
He said no, she said no, and he
But you
said no.
didn't call me to ask me if it was okay to do it at night or on certain days either.
No, I don't have to call you. I emailed it to you.
Hey, guys.
All right, come on, we take a vote?
Not worth it.
Okay. All in favor to change the date from the 10th to 11th, please let me know.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
You'll be by yourself.
All right. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, next up, we're going to go to public comments.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Is it public comments or members?
Comments from the council members, I'm sorry.
Yep, sorry. I just want to say thank you to everybody that helped on the cleanup last week for the rain gardens. It's a tough event. Councilman Winsall was out there actually doing some work
Before he got hit.
before he got hit.
No,
it was
right
after.
after.
Oh, that
That's right,
was
Debbie told me.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember.
thanks for everybody that showed up. We got a lot done. It was cold,
Yeah.
windy, but thanks to all the volunteers that came out. It was a great event. Also, I want to talk about blight. Honestly, just I always tell residents, clean up in front of your house and clean up your neighbor's house if you have to, just in front of the street. Clean up your sewage gates, your basin. It's just clean up, and then the grass, just cut the lawn. Some grasses are like a forest in front of these homes. And again, to all the parents out there, please tell your kids to slow down. Dearborn Heights is not a drag track. please, you gotta tell them to slow down. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
I was, attended the Mass at St. Hedwig Cemetery and then the great reception afterwards for Memorial Day. It was a great honor, a great event. And I want to thank everyone for this tribute for my 99-year-old father. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you, Father.
I will go quickly. I want to thank Councilman Wenzel and Jamie's kids and the entire Ecorse Creek Commission for that Ecorse Creek cleanup. That was absolutely amazing. I also want to thank Ms. Johns and her exciting of 50 years to service to Crestwood High School and for always allowing NHS from Crestwood to show up. I also want to thank the students from Annapolis and from Westwood. I also want to thank, a lot of the kids that were there. Councilman Wenzel's children were there. It was such a great and amazing event. And so that was amazing. I also want to thank the Ian Center. I want to thank Rose Trepepi for allowing us to be a part of the Rose and the Riveters. And we were able to make some cards and it was absolutely amazing today. I sat with a bunch of our seniors and we created a bunch of these cards that we give away to veterans. And it was such a beautiful initiative. And I really found myself, arts and crafts might be my thing. I was gluing and stickering and it was so soothing. I didn't think cutting paper like I was when I was a kid was actually a thing, and it really is. Or I'm just getting really old.
You're definitely getting old.
Memorial Day, I also attended the Memorial Day that was set up by Barb, and it was for Jason, our fallen officer in the city of Dearborn Heights. I want to thank Barbara. I want to thank Vince Sapkowski, his wife, Barbara. I'm not Barb.
Angela.
I'm looking at Barb and
Angela.
Barb Rennie, but Angela Venegas, and I want to also thank Vince's wife as well. And I also want to thank Lincinia. And there was one more name that I want, Janet from the police department. They did a phenomenal job by getting things out there, letting everybody know, showing up. It was on a Sunday at 6:30. It was beautiful. Councilwoman Manalowski Maxwell was also there. Councilwoman Breyer was there. And Councilman Wenzel was also there. And our treasurer, Lisa, was also there. And so it was beautiful to see the fire and the police.
He did say.
I did say
Did I
it.
say clerk?
Yeah. Yep.
Even though she's not here now, she was there.
She's right there.
Oh, there she is.
That's her.
So it was a beautiful tribute. I wish I would have saw a bigger crowd, and I kind of want to echo what Councilman Wenzel said earlier. There needs to be more of a Memorial Day, remembrance in this community of Dearborn Heights. I mean, we are surrounded by some of the greatest residents, and to see that we don't share, our for those who put their lives to service, it's very disheartening and disappointing. And I'd love to see something next year, and whatever initiative that I have to take to make sure that we do see that for next year and forever. I'm gonna make that oath that I hope and support this with Councilman Wenzel and hopefully our director from Parks and Recreation as well. And then also, I golfed at One Valley bright early morning, 8:30 on Monday. I want to tell you that Jason and his staff, absolutely phenomenal. Like when I think back on this golf course decision and bringing in Jason and his Revive, what an unbelievable staff. I mean, the hospitality, when I first walked in, management shaking everybody's hand, offering people free waters, even doing a challenge if you can hit this putt from 100 yards out. The community was engaged, and this is at 8:30 in the morning. You go to places at 8:30 in the morning, everybody's like, I haven't had my coffee yet. The energy was just really, really high, and looking at the greens and where it is on these 18 holes is absolutely remarkable. And so, Jason, if you're watching right now, a round of applause to you. You are doing a phenomenal job. And if anybody wants to question what he's doing, I tell you, go out there, jump on a cart, reach out to Jason and see it for yourself. And if you understand anything about golf, the greens are like glass right now, so fast, so good. I'm so proud of that place. And I'm going to say publicly, I am so happy that Jason is in charge of this golf course, because I swear to you, he's putting Dearborn Heights residents in that golf course first. And then lastly, I was out walking through many neighborhoods in Dearborn Heights this past week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I didn't knock. But the amount of reckless driving on Hess, Annapolis, Beach Daily, Mayburn. No, I'm talking, these are just local streets.
Oh.
You know, Powers, Monroe, I swear to you, is absolutely frightening. Somebody walking with their dog, somebody crossing the street, riding their bike, it's unfair. It is absolutely deadly. And so when I hear things like Mr. Deeb is doing here with this public safety, that's a great start. But we need more, because it is like the National Guards need to come in. And let me tell you, you don't realize it when you may see it when you're driving. You may see it when you're driving, or walk a whole neighborhood and watch and see the loud mufflers, the revving of the engines, the flying through. I witnessed two residents, two seniors riding their bikes on Hess Street, and a car almost hit them on purpose because they were exchanging words, and then blew the stop sign. This was directly in front of St. Linus. It was on Hess and Evangeline. And I whistled and told the car, "What are you doing?" And I could not believe what I saw. So, like, whatever with our police department, we need to really start tackling down. I know we're saying that we're impounding vehicles with respect to the chief, but why are we impounding vehicles? Are we impounding them because we see these people are being reckless, or are we impounding them because these cars have broke down? You know, how many of these are we charging people with reckless driving? And let me remind you, if you get charged with reckless driving, you can't hold a CPL. It's going to be very hard to get into any graduate program, and your license is going to be suspended with a lien on that vehicle if we impound their cars. We need to start setting the rules very, very aggressively in Dearborn Heights. Even if that means that we have to come out and, hide and watch them do it. You don't even got to hide. They're just doing it. It's everywhere. It's not one designated area of Dearborn Heights. It's every single part of Dearborn Heights is driving like this. We need to do better.
Council Chair?
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that too. And we must remember, it does start at home. We need to teach our kids. Like the young lady that's picking up the trash, that's the way she was raised. That's why she's doing it. We got to raise our kids right and teach them respect, because I'm so tired of going on the internet every day and reading in the news another accident, either with a motorcycle. Now it's motorcycle season, so we've got to be really cautious. But cars, and they're just not a fender bender, they are just like smashed like an accordion, and you wonder even if the person lived, and if they did, how did they? It's just ridiculous. I mean, I drive everywhere and people run the red light. I've been sitting at the red light for 10, 15 seconds and they go through, and I'm like, I'm waiting for a bad accident to happen in front of me one of these days. Like I said, it starts at home, and you must lead by example too. Your kids watch what you do. And so you should follow the rules or the law.
And also keep in mind, just to add on to you, Councilwoman, even some of these parents at the schools. I swear, I was at, and when you guys brought up Hillcrest, what? Holy moly. I was like, what is going on here? Why are you rushing? Your kids are in the car. What kind of example are you to your children? So, I mean, I cannot believe how bad it's gotten, maybe because the weather is broken and it's Memorial Day weekend, but very disheartening, very disappointing. I was like, no.
I would say, once again, the motorcycles are out. You got to be really cautious with them, because they don't stick out like a car does.
Councilwoman Breyer?
I'd like to piggyback on what the two of you just said. Tonight on my way here, I had two young boys on scooters.
Oh, yeah.
Cut in front of cars at a stop sign. And I waited for them, but the car behind me almost didn't.
Yeah,
So the kids have to be careful, and that they're taught that from their parents, to follow the rules, no matter what type of a vehicle they're on.
Any other comments?
Council Chair?
Hold on, I just want to make sure you all.
Oh, yes, I'm done.
Thank you. Councilman Wenzel.
Okay, just for the record, Representative Aaron Burns responded to me, and she says that the city of Dearborn Heights has until September 30th, 2026 to use the dollars from that grant.
Thank you.
And
That's what she said at the meeting.
And, being a cross guard every morning, I see parents dropping their kids off that cannot wait 3 seconds to let a car go by. They can't, God forbid if a car gets ahead of them and they lose 3 or 5 seconds of their time. So they have kids in the car, and the kids see this, so it does start at home. Also, we had our Ecorse Creek rain garden maintenance program, and it was sponsored by the Dearborn Heights Watershed Steward Commission. And we had the students from Annapolis, Robichaud, and Crestwood there helping out, plus dozens and dozens and dozens of other volunteers. From Crestwood, Miss Johns, she organizes the National Art Society there. She'll be resigning at the end of the school year. We'll be losing her. She's a great asset to the community. And every year, the city of Dearborn Heights Building Maintenance Department funds the money to buy the mulch that we need. And mulch is the critical aspect for our rain garden maintenance. And this year, because of mismanagement or whatever, the money wasn't in there. The budget wasn't funded properly in the past, not what our director now. And by a blessing of God, we had Councilman Hassan Saab write a check for the mulch. Thank you so much. And he made it happen this year. Thank you so much. And right before I left my meeting today, I had a group of residents come by, and they're really upset about what they nicknamed the Green Monster. It's a home in south end of Dearborn Heights. It's on Cornell Street and Powers. And it's about a 5,000 square foot home, maybe bigger, in the middle of a 2-bedroom community. And it's all green. It's just got wood on, green stuff siding on it, and it's not finished. And it has been worked on in over 6 months, maybe longer. And I drove by it today, and just to make sure it wasn't being worked on before I read this. And it's not. And there's a person across the street that has a couch sitting out in their front yard. And I looked, I said, I'd rather look at that couch than look at that thing sitting there. It's an eyesore. I don't know why it hasn't been worked on. I consider it blight. And maybe when it's all said and done, it might look good. But it's a massive monster home. It's so tall. I'm hoping it conforms with our ordinances for height. But it's a massive, massive structure. No one around in that area, I mean, no one likes it at all. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a beautiful home someday. But I told these people I'd mentioned at the meeting, I'd have a chance to reach out to the building director because I was on my way to the meeting. The golf course, it is beautiful. It's a great job. Jason's doing a great job. He offers things, not only the golf course. See, now I'm not saying anybody, but there's a lot of people out there that can maintain a golf course in pristine condition. But Jason goes one above. You know, he maintains that golf course so beautifully, and all the other programs that they offer at Warren Valley. For high schools, for kids. I mean, they're numerous. I mean, he keeps, every time he tells me when I go, I didn't know you did that. And they offer so much there. They're an asset to the community. Jason, if you're still listening, you're doing a great job. God bless you. Thank you for all you're doing. And
Can you use the word immaculate, please?
It is. What's that?
Use the word immaculate.
Did I say immaculate?
No, I want you to say that.
Pristine, immaculate. I don't know.
All of the
I guess, but really good. You know. But this past weekend we went to the memorial for Jason Mikowski and Robert Dowday, and it was really humbling. We had some former police officers there talking about how it happened. He was on duty, got off of duty, and he took it upon himself to come back because they needed someone there. And he was standing behind a chimney, and he was shot by kind of like mistake. The guy shot, someone that was held up in a house, shot, and unfortunately the bullet hit him and killed him. And police officers were saying, you got to be careful. And I know, losing a child, and I know the dramatic effects it has on you for a lifetime, and losing a partner. And people are, when you're in that situation, you can't say, okay, I'm going to be careful. You're a police officer, you're thrown into this, you want to do the right thing. So it's hard for them to say, make the right decisions sometimes because they're so dedicated. And so, I mean, it was a very moving experience, and, God bless him and his family, and like I said before, we're gonna do something special next year for that, for sure. And, finally, I'm gonna be the first to say it, we have a council member sitting up here tonight that has, served, 12 years, I think around 12 years on city council, 6 years as a state representative, and to my sadness and disbelief, sort of, he won't be running again for reelection this November, and that's Bob Constant. And I want to tell you, thank you for all you've done for the city and your experience. Thank you, Bob.
We still have 6 months.
You got a haircut for that speech today. You all set here, Councilman?
Yeah, I'm it.
All right, we're going to move it up to announcements from administration. Go ahead.
Lynn, you're city clerk.
Yes.
I just wanted to let you all know, in case you didn't know, that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I think you brought it up before, Council Chair. And it started in 1949 by Mental Health America to increase awareness of mental health and wellness, aim to destigmatize mental illness, promote mental wellness, and celebrate recovery. Mental health is just as important as physical health, affecting how we think, feel, and act. Nearly 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience a mental health concern each year, and many people experience mental health challenges but don't receive treatment due to stigma or lack of awareness. So talk about mental health. Educate yourself and others. Learn about mental health conditions, treatment options, and resources. Promote mental wellness. Encourage healthy habits, self-care, and seeking help. Support local organizations. Donate to, volunteer with, or attend events sponsored by mental health organizations. It's okay to not be okay.
Thank you. Thank you for everything. How you doing, Treasurer?
Pressure. Hi. Speaking as Treasurer, Lisa Hicks Clayton. 3 really quick public service announcements regarding taxes. First of all, I want to be really clear just to set this. Treasurer does not set or approve millage rates. That's the assessor this year for tax year 25 with the help of Plant Moran, I understand. They submitted the proposed millage rate list to you, the honorable body. You approve it, and that creates the L4029 that's presented to the treasurer. We do the data entry of that L4029, the approved millages by the honorable body, and that is how your tax bill is generated, and that's how we mail it out. So I just want to be really clear about that. The second thing, I've got really exciting news for a lot of people. This is a direct result of residents contacting us and saying, hey, we want to be able to pay our property taxes by ACH, auto pay, like you do your water. So that is now gone live. It is on the city website. You never have to write another check if you don't want to. No more postage payments or stamps or losing the mail sometimes. No more trips to City Hall. You can set that up by going online, visiting the treasurer's page on the city website, and complete the form. It'll be on the right side if you're from a desktop. So it's all online, fillable online. Last public service announcement right now for summer taxes is going to be the tax deferment. Forms are available online as well. And you can go to the treasurer's page. You do have to complete the deferment form every year. Has to be an application. So if you did it last year, you still need to do it for this next tax year, for tax year 25. However, I will tell you, if you were an applicant last year, you're getting a letter from me this week with an application attached, just as a friendly, hey, here it is, don't forget to fill it out. It's just we want to do that and be convenient for our residents. If you do not have access to a computer and you cannot fill out the online form, call us at 791-3410. That's 313-791-3410, and we'll mail it off to you. The last thing I have for you is more on a personal note, so I'll just switch gears. Memorial Day, I attended the police memorial as well, and St. Hedwig's ceremony is what a beautiful cemetery. It has got to be one of the most beautiful cemeteries in the country. I'm not kidding you. They do a great job. Salute to the veterans organizations, including American State Post, and what they've done. I want to say it's really important not to forget these folks that we're honoring and remembering. We have to remember how they live their lives. because of how they chose to live their life, allows us to live our lives. And we have to remember that. I will tell you, I'm not going to cry, but thank you, honorable city council members. I really appreciate you for not forgetting my son, remembering him. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Dr. McCaffrey.
So hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to do a quick announcement. This Saturday, May 31st from 12 to 4 at JFK Library, we will be the latest iteration of Small Business Saturday. We're going to host 18 local small businesses. Lots of exciting items will be there, so come on out and support small business. Thank you for your time and attention. See you at the library.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Let's
I
get to
just
the
want to
directors.
echo on
get
Director
to-
McCaffrey.
That's good.
He did me a big solid this weekend. My son was doing a report for history class, and he chose Thompson Maxwell, a person that is involved in the Boston Tea Party and buried in Dearborn Heights. And he took time out of his day, I believe it was it Sunday? I believe it was, yeah, to come and open the gates for us so we could take some have a photo op. Thank you so much, Mike.
Did you use the photos for the presentation?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, really cool. Thank you.
Dr. McCaffrey, always going the extra step.
Yep.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. Time just flies by, obviously, for me. The Spirit Fest is right around the corner next week. A lot of work, a lot of effort goes into it. It's reimagined. We really worked on a lot of details. But there's two things that you worry about when you're doing a festival. One is the weather, and somebody's looking down on us. 0% chance of rain, 80 degrees every single day. The second part is you want everyone to be safe, and I have to commend the police chief, who's brought together a task force of the state police, of course, our police, and Wayne County Sheriff, including the Mounted Patrol, that we're all meeting this Thursday, that will all come together to make sure that festival is absolutely safe. And I was just overwhelmed when he gave me all the details. So we'll all be looking forward to seeing you all there.
I want to tell you, I'm overwhelmed with what you have presented to us because we've never received anything like this.
No.
Like this tells me, this is professionalism.
That's it.
This right here, this is so professional, and I want to thank you for this.
Yeah. We'll see it all.
Hats off to you. All right, anyone else regarding announcements from administration? Yes, ma'am.
All right, just a reminder, for those who want to, we have the Ecorse Creek meeting is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. But more importantly, on June 26th, we will have a mayoral meet and greet. There will be questions from the audience allowed, as well as prepared questions. And hopefully the people who are there will tell us why they're running for office and what they hope to accomplish. And it's on the 26th. That will be a Thursday in June. 7 o'clock, 3335 South Beach Daily. That's all. 3335 South Beach Daily, the admin building for Westwood Community School District.
It's a gift.
All right, we're going to open up to the public now. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I'm the public.
State
You're
your
the
name,
public,
city
Renee.
resident, and the street that you live on.
Okay, my name's Renee Myrna. I live on Annapolis, the hot rod street of the nation. It's not too bad this year yet. First of all, the Spirit Fest. I encourage everybody to come out to the Spirit Fest. Hopefully, we'll make enough money to, finance the city, woes that we got going on. But I hope that everybody will come out and enjoy at least a couple of days at the Spirit Fest. I noticed that they did put somebody's been going around painting the word spirit and a sunshine on those signs that went around that had been on there.
Our director did them.
Nice job. I saw that the other day. I thought that was pretty fun. Yeah. By the way, I didn't put that post up, so just so you know. Sorry. Anyway, I just want to mention a red flag, something that really hit me in the gut, and it was the folks that were talking about developing that property on Ann Arbor Trail or something. Whoa. I mean, I got evil spirit vibes bad of things that they were talking about, and the thing that hit me was when they say, I'm telling you, I hate to say this, but when Satan tempts you, he's going to tempt you with candy and then come in and whack you over the head. Well, the candy is, oh, for the greater good. That's a red flag to me. When somebody says the greater good, that's one of those new age statements that means you give up your rights for me and my pocketbook and my interests. Who cares about what it does to you? But I'm going to give you this candy temporarily. That money candy that they're offering is going to be disappeared in the budget to take care of back issues. That is never going to see the light of day on anything that's current or that's coming up in the future, as according to how I see it. But that if you ever say, and I know you said this today, Council Chair, for the greater good, but you said it in the proper way. But that way was like, man, the hair stood up in the back of my throat. And then when that other guy got up to speak, and he was so hostile, that's the back end. And I'm telling you, he showed his true colors of what's going to happen when they finally get a contract, that all of a sudden they're going to turn hostile and angry against the city, and they're going to demand their rights and come up here and come out of turn and demand their rights. I could be wrong, but I'm going to tell you this. These were my red flags today. Thank you for postponing it, putting it down. Whatever you did was the right thing, because the spirit in here turned ugly, and it was a hostile spirit, and it was a takeover spirit. We're not selling our soul for a few dollars and a few tax dollars and a few goodies that they're going to give us, because they have other properties that they're going to do the same thing to the residents later on. I say that was a red flag. Thank you guys for being wise to that. Thank you, Lord, for answering prayer and guiding these guys. I pray for wisdom for you all the time, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Council Chair. May I say something? Yeah. I mean, I didn't feel any no bad spirit or anything. I tried to push it because the way I like to vote, I like to do my homework. And we needed more information, and we needed everybody's input, and it was going to take forever. I mean, between Councilman Winslow and Councilman Saab, it was going to be after midnight. So I figured take it to a study session and get, the exact, information that we need before making a decision. But we are a welcoming city for any business, or not any business, but I mean, whatever they need to invest in the city, we are still welcoming. So we do thank them for thinking about our city to invest, but we do need to do it the right way, though.
I just want to say one thing. So is there like a 2-minute, not to say anything about Tom, but is there like a 2-minute time limit on the council's comments? Oh, thanks, just kidding. Nothing, Tom, they were all good, really.
Put it on me. See how long I speak longer than 2 minutes? Never. Except for a comment at the end.
Thank you. How you doing, sir? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You got 3 minutes, Vince.
Thank you, sir. You just said my name, Vince, Columbia Street. Thank you for your time this evening. I'd like to highlight what the lady, Renee just said here. Go back and take a look at the last two Planning Commission meetings, the recordings, and listen to them, or however it's written out, and you'll see what transpired. I wasn't misinformed about what I said. So, and I just want to say that. Also, if you've never been through St. Edward Cemetery during this time of year, just drive through there and you'll be surprised how many veterans are actually there. Take a look at the flags. Each one of those flags are placed over a headstone is a veteran. And it's pretty amazing. I know I sent you notices at the last minute, but we haven't had representation at St. Edward's from this administration ever since it took over. And our late great mayor, rest his soul, Mr. Paleco is buried over there, right on one of the hills close to the mausoleum, not the mausoleum, but the main office there. Anyway, so I understand everybody's got plans during certain times of the year, but I appreciate that. Also, could the fire department put the fire station at Columbia at Ann Arbor Trail? It's 2.4 acres. So, food for thought. I'm sure the residents over there would rather have that than a proposed two-story complex, two-story complexes. And yet you have the Middle Eastern community moving in more and more, and there's a lot of older residents that abide by wearing the hijab and don't want to be seen by men, because I ran into that with my neighbor by accident. She didn't have the hijab, she closed the door on me. So I didn't understand that until it was explained. So I brought that up in the past, and that's been ignored. So maybe that's one of your devil signs that Renee's talking about there.
Thank you,
All right,
Vince.
thank you for your time.
I just want to respond to you on one thing. I know that I wasn't able to attend the Monday Mass, and really, I really wanted to this year, but
I understand you were very busy and you had to do what you had to do.
the 25th was my father-in-law who passed away, who was also a veteran. It was his birthday. My wife really wanted to spend it. He felt it was a traumatic loss out of nowhere to my family, to my wife and her family. So I gave her my word that I'm spending the entire day.
Oh, I understand. You got
alongside her mom, and her sister, who also shares the birthday with her late father.
I understand that family's first.
Absolutely.
And Christmas is a hard time for my wife. She lost her father on Christmas Eve, so it does get be a little tough at times. But I think the city's heading in the right direction. Hopefully, sometime soon here.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good evening. It's getting late.
Yep, 10:01.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we're gonna move it over to Zoom. I'll start with Jason Priscilla, then we'll go over to Rachel. The man, the myth, the legend, Jason, unmute him, please.
Jason Pearsall, Chester Street, Detroit. Good evening, council members, residents, and golfers. Council Chair and Honorable Councilman Wenzel, thank you for your kind words about Warren Valley. It really does mean a lot to our team. I'm happy to report that the golf course is in the best shape since we took on the renovation, and with the growing season in full swing, it's only going to improve from here. A quick reminder for our senior residents, 55 and over, you play golf free all year round, just a cart fee before 9 a.m., or you can walk at no expense Monday through Friday.
So Councilman
Ahmad, you got free golf. The community that built the place. All you have to do is stop in the pro shop, we'll put you in the system and take advantage of the offer. On the driving range renovation, it's filling in. Though it's one of the lowest parts of the property and flooding has put us all a few weeks behind our Memorial Day target. Barring any extreme weather, we're confident it will be open and playable by the 4th of July weekend. We plan to offer lots of free golf clinics to the community. Finally, regarding the proposed fire station, either site will have some footprint on the course and both impacts are manageable. I just want to invite every one of you, council staff and residents, come out, ride the course, see the sites firsthand, bring whoever you need, engineers, environmental experts, or just neighbors. I'd recommend a public study session where we all review the plans, the pros, the cons, answer questions, and ensure the fire station and the golf course serve the community's best interests. Thank you for your time. I look forward to welcoming you guys all out in the course.
Thank you, Jason, and also keep in mind, I think Jason watches every single city council meeting for the last 2 years. He says it's more entertaining than any other reality TV show.
Very true.
Thanks, Jason. All right, next we have Rachel.
Hi, guys. Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. So a few things. I just wanted to honor for a second Deacon Larry Gerard, who passed away just the other day at the age of 106 and a half. He was the longtime deacon at St. Sebastian here on the South End, now St. Maria Goretti, and his funeral services are going to be, I believe, Thursday morning. I know the information's on Facebook. The next thing I wanted to comment on was just to tell Lynn, great job finding that information about those payments that were being made, that you guys did the information requisition form for. I think that really illustrates the point of having checks and balances and having different parties of different, parts of the government look at different things and making sure that everybody has access to all that information. And then the last thing was a question for all of you council members, and that's when is the last time each of you did a class on ethics and the liabilities you may present to the city in what you say as council members?
2021.
Last year.
21. Thank you. Any other questions?
And I would just hope that all of you think of that, because what I witnessed tonight, hearing a council person go after a resident, just the mere liability that the city could face now from a defamation lawsuit is ridiculous. So that has to stop, and you all need to maybe do a refresher course on that.
Thank
And
you.
I'll happily take it with you guys. Have a great night.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Hold on.
Second.
And anyone else in the audience, anyone else on Zoom? All right, seeing none, motion to, before we go, I'm sorry, guys, I have to. I want to just recognize Mariana, who's sitting there in the back. She comes to every single meeting. I know she takes a lot back and forth from us, but I want to recognize her. And even when we have at times nobody from the administration, Mariana shows up, and I really want to thank you for that. I appreciate you, and God bless you, Mariana.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, we got one more iPhone. See that?
Yeah, hello.
How you doing, sir? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Yeah, I live in Dearborn Heights, but if possible, I just wanted to remain anonymous.
What's that?
What do you want?
I said I reside in Dearborn Heights, but I'd like to remain anonymous, so if that's okay.
Sorry, it's part of the council.
I mean, I'll just say my first name, Michael. So I actually have a question.
Just need a street too.
Can you just give us the street name, Michael? I'm sorry, sir.
Robindale Street. Dearborn
Robindale,
Heights.
there you go.
Okay, so, my question is actually gonna be concerning, this, maybe I think you might be able to answer this, but who would be in charge of the police contract towing?
Who would be in police contract towing would be the police department.
Okay, so the only reason I have a question for you, Mr. Beydoun.
Yeah.
I respect your work ethic a lot, but do you also support businesses that are known to rob people? By rob people, I mean like within their money and not treat them right.
You said you know me well, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well, if you knew me well, you would know I would definitely, I mean, I don't think anybody would do that, or anybody on this council.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I'm not saying you. No, I'm not saying you, sir, obviously, but
Yeah.
one reason why I'm just bringing this to attention is because I believe you guys should look into J&T Crova Towing. I know that's a popular tow company that Dearborn Heights and a lot of other municipals use for police contract. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, they basically rob people from their impound fees to hookups and a lot of things anytime the police department has to call them down, especially when it comes to accidents and stuff. And, you know, their Google reviews alone speak for themselves. And I believe the owner himself as well is a felon, has been convicted of a lot of stuff. And, you know, I don't know if this is news to you guys or what, but I don't see why a city should be supporting this kind of business. And I believe they should be rather supporting a tow company rather that has better, good moral values.
Do you have a recommendation?
Oh, I mean, nobody in particular. I mean, there's a lot here in Michigan, you know what I mean? But I believe you should look more into J&T.
Thank you.
And see, you know, their tactics.
Thank you so much, Mike, on Robindale.
Council Chair,
Any other questions? No?
I'm all set.
Thank you. A motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second.
Motion by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries.